Wait a couple of seconds after we move, then cut out the other way.
It's that quiet weapon, rap verse written for silent war. It's going down now, that's why we calling on all wars. We got strikes, join the Empire strike like Star Wars. We doing life echoes eternally. We spit words, truth that germinate internally. Unfold so they learn to see how they lower self straight squirming. Be as long as the game stay full of vermin, it's holy zeal of permanently. Permanent amnesia, game is straight up procedures. This record's like a battle cry. Future generations need you. The rock industry need the ban chauvinism, criminalize these kingpin visions and glamorize the prison. Slam the door on the hole. If not, if you're headed to, you don't want to know. If I had a challenge status quo with Dodo, I still be ready to go though. More Jedi than Han Solo. Plans for match faster than photos. These labels red-handed trying to turn the page. Trick up future weapons like chemical. Yeah, you people look crazy. Diabolic blades, psychosis spread like the plague. Rock them like a class action rap and drag them through the haze. This is psychological war. No race, no rules, high stakes, conglomerate. Corporations trying to brainwash us with self-hatred. They sabotage another generation. It's time to raise up the Moorish nation. Calling on board. Calling on board. MCs, battle stations.
I ain't a field nigga, though I walk through the field of the shadow of death. I give praise to the holy breath, like skins, like a house nigga. But yo, the Mo kept your master's books. Yeah, I know they gets me sideways looks. From Islamic kingdoms we were took, that's the hook. Why I don't jump no brooms, why I ain't no coon, why I can't play the buffoon. Garbed in a sash, turban and pantaloon. The tune is a rallying cry to our platoon across grand body lines, cause that's the time. The ether is sublime, but the Moor gauged it like subprime. It's divine and national. Some soldiers are irrational. This is the art of war. You got the art of war behind a computer screen, but my pedigree can see that you green. So get the hell out the way and let the real warriors play.
Lady Skills moves off the street box. The baseball furies drop the ball, made an error. Our are on second base and trying to make it all the way home.
Muslims marching to the city of love. Singing booty to the city of love. Keep rising to the top to see the trees of the bowl. Up the ladder we stepping, yeah. Golden age of the Moors, yeah, that's me on the cover. Hannibal come again, sex in the rudder. Conference is square, but I'm good with the hammers, pound for pound. Or the axe of culture, have to lie about the possible death when Jesus started. Fly slip them on the top of them possum. Knowledge is strong, mercury. I self-law and master, most certainly. Son of bear bottom, but I'm built like Hercules. While the law lives, there ain't no Hercules.
I've been asked to relay a request from the Grownup. It's a special for the war. That's that real live one component, and I do mean the war. Okay, let's get down to it, partners. We're gonna have to do better out there. Our friends just made it past one of the minor league teams.
Wait a couple of seconds after we move, then cut out the other way.
Let's get it straight. This that zombie repellent right here. Do like this. I never claimed to be bothered by European bank ballers. They just put him in space. I'm a star, partner. A law put the B-line before you told you don't detour. Like demolition derby, you're the destroyer. Like King James, we not the same, we varsity. The game fit me like the destroyer. Your time's borrowed. I see your sorrow so crystal clear. You didn't plan for tomorrow. Trying to claim power. Be a cloud to powder, but your soul's half devoured. Moving no miles per hour. Hours down here, you might advance while we wait. It's all well, the laws will. We in good hands like all state. Meet Jamaica. Degrees keep you scorching like Jamaica. All date is the relation. Translation of temptations is long triangulated, ya. Congratulations. Yes. My God. My God. My God. Yes. My God. My God. Yes.
It's a song of thanksgiving and praise sung by the masses. Not confined to Muslims, Jews, or Catholics. I think about my God, Allah. I feel moved, feel like doing spiritual backflips. Round off semi-God giving gymnastics. The talents I'm blessed with, believe I owe it all to the cause. All because he made me in his image. Thanking him for allowing me to bear witness to his greatness. Allah's the greatest. Allahu Akbar, Ali praises. Circumstances demand for me not to be deluded by illusions of that fantasies, friends, homes, and families. All that calamities or self-love's misery. Allah enjoys, I enjoy it already.
Yes. My God. My God. My God. Yes. My God. My God. Yes.
Hey, right, want the spotlight? I tell them read about old Genetically. It's crazy, right? Be careful what you wish for, you might get it. And if it comes from the higher self, my God did it. That's Allah. Some call him Zeus, but whatever his name is, he's the ruthless roots. The cause is cause. My God told us that the time was out, but you still talking about your Audemars. I ain't mad at y'all. I'm trying to educate. You show the public love, in return they show you hate. Creative faith works for my God, but I applaud his actions. At least he got a job. The unemployment rate is so high. My God, the merciful. My God, the merciful.
Yes. My God. My God. My God. Yes. My God.
Yeah.
My God.
I'm on the ride here.
Yes.
Chill. Hail Mary, Father of Grace. That's a set, that's the Sarge, just minus the pale face. Now I'm on it in the case of vitiligo. Your whole history up in the cold box bottle. The pill powers and I lead just follow. Zombie wanna eat your medulla oblongata. Poor Jesus, you know the doggies like ribs. They drink his blood and eat his body. Cannibalism problem. Say it's communion, but it is what it is. Mass savagery, but they masks get to be guarded. Pippin' in Ferraris, chasing at Mirage like your dope in his tail to smoke mystery. God, mama on the knees praying, please Lord Jesus. Daddy slain, but the pain mostly felt in the beat. Preacher gave me that King James book, man. Genesis 9:24, read the book, man. Killed you with the imagery. Pink babies with wings, it's like a couple shots of Hennessy. Frank Kruger before the fire consumed them. Creature with a smile, then the wrath will soon come. Welcome to Babylon, USA, like the leaves in autumn. London Bridges, World Trade. Take me back to Ruth and Boaz. Larry Smith, Joseph Johnson used to be known as. I'm denying from fabric to picking cottons. No niggas, we more, get in the mirror, you not.
Yes. My God.
My God. My God. Yes.
I'm quite aware of what I'm asking of you, and I don't think it's a crime asking you to be more me.
Come in and watch you love. I found a long man, and that's the higher self. If you don't get the gift of love, you deny yourself that old white swag. Feds is the turban, through the Moorish flag. The lion in every person, but tough from this world, this water the law serving. Repent from your simple ways, you are leaving. You say you free, but sing your babies at day school. You jump the hoops, eat they food, you they food. Hit doggy doggy when you're gone with that collar on. You stood in bed if you get your wild on. This moment right here ain't for the passive. You shook, sweating, brown, dripping molasses. We active, and we will speed up the molecule. Slow down the ethers, back to flesh with the olive you. Praise the Lord for proper drew, we honor you. The quarter song, we're on me, rendezvous. Come in and watch you love. Man, hurry. Mr. Larry, rock mine.
Quite aware of what I'm asking of you.
The reconciliation of the one and the many, his manifestations are plenty, yet he has no partners, unlike the created, into whom was Jesus first reincarnated. MCs get cremated, spitting that blasphemy. I tend to agree with Ibn Arabi and Al-Ghazali. 99 names, attributes infinite in number, nor sleep nor slumber. Overtake ye, not bound by the petty emotions of frail and weak humanity. Such insanity, there can't be two absolutes, but that would change the definition of the word. The word is bond, the fix is solved, in his mind revolves countless universes. That's why we call him Father. He's farther, yet closer than your jugular vein. Al-Malik, the king will always reign.
Come in and watch you love. Mr. Larry, rock mine.
Quite aware
To the one who is supreme, most wise, beneficent, executive of everything, seen and unseen. And to him alone belong worship, adoration, and praise for the rest of my days. Wonderful he is in all ways. Acknowledge transcendent pattern that your thoughts relate. Stretch out the heavens with his hands, fingers draw courses for the stars. Build worlds with his words, smite planets with his arm. Majestic, omnipotent, over the void. Don't take his anger or you'll be destroyed. He institutes the law, the government of all beings, and his will's built in the nature of each one of these things. His providence is always wherever his works rule with infinite wisdom. We stay in search of the purposes, but one Allah, the governor of the world, the author, creator, almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, the father of the five principles.
Come in and watch you love. Mr. Larry, rock mine.
quite aware of what I'm asking of you.
Louis L. Claudine, Moors on the move, Glorious Quan, Compton's Base, Claudine in the building. Genetically. It's been a long time, I know you never thought I'd wake from. I've been scheming on the rhyme, this rap game is a big gun. On the head or gun up in my mind, like D-Day, Normandy beaches. High, honest for the prophet, look how far our history reaches. I feel my memory expand and thoughts beat increases. From now forward, we taking it back more. Positive hip hop, that's how we rap sure. Upliftment business, got them in the rap sure. Star Wars, started with a world tour. Fighting over pyramids, we catch yours. Caps on rapping, beat like blacks on clapping. Trace it back to the captain, Noah, Adam, Ham. Let's take a walk from the beginning to the end. They brought me all the way back home again. Back from the dismal crypts, bottom of the ships. That's all bullshit from the bottomless pits. We made it like the greatest to be born. Beat the dragon, graduated walls, made it to the storm. Baptized by fire, we the cleanest. Even die, but revive like the phoenix in the morn. Now the moon is funny. I heard the sun is gone. I can feel it in me, man. The sun is born. Ellen is towing the star. The sky's torn. It's the tetrahedron. Sound the horn.
The Jesus, do they know who I am? Does it fit in the ham? A resurrected low up like that's who I am.
This life of man any time began. Here now you cherubim, you seraphim, you angels and you men. Here now, O class of earth and plant and ranger over the beast. Here now you creeping things of the earth, you fish that swim, you birds that fly. Here now you winds that blow, you thunders and you lightnings of the sky. I'm amped of holy and divine approval. Our royal herald you reduced to a stamp. Man was but a seed of a plant in the soil of sorrow. Title of faithful, cause the tone was kept peaceful while there was turmoil. It grew apace and became the strength of the law, manifested in the flesh. Striving for plus, society warns me not to push. Descended from ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush, first inhabitants of Africa from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family was second. They came the word Ethiopia, the demarcation line of Mexico, the first and true divine name of Africa. Follow the footprints in the sand of the master. Philosophy fasting, raise the substance of the body to a higher tone for particular ones. The divide in the land between the Father and the Son.
The Jesus, do they know who I am? Yeah. Does it fit in the hand? A resurrected lower like that's who I am. I am him. Adam, Cush, Noah, Abraham, full ass, Prophet Solomon, Jesus, all of them. The key, we connected, I'll be calling them. With my vibration, close my eyes, I'm in the stars for them. Look up in the sky, must be an extraterrestrial. So fly, the DNA is celestial. Adam slow is still, the guard got a little closer. The true sensation, the perfume, the odor. Over land and the waters, paint the rubber caddies, they just wheels on flying saucers. White walls, they be riding on halos. The Moors on the move, had to cut off the brake hole. Speeding on the highway to heaven, check his dash. 101 and 7 seconds. That's the flesh transmuting. That Bruce Lee voice blow, internalize the lessons. Embodiment of truth and hell, the holy breath in hell. The Jesus, do they know who I am? Just descendants of Ham, a resurrected Moab like that's who I am.
The Holy Quran of the Moor Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father God Allah, great God of the universe, to redeem man from his simple and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life, with his father God Allah. Thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past. Before time, the Big Bang boom was doomed to crash. Man moves on to never-ending days to come. Reality like a fantastic dream to some. Here now, the cherubim, the seraphim, angels, and man comprehend his infinite wisdom if you can. Hear when wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane. Its beauty and simplicity, so keep it simple and plain. Man, like every other thought of a law, was but a seed that held deep within the potencies of God. Indeed, he must be planted deeply in the soil to grow. Unfold as the flower bud unfolds to show. He was ordained to be the Lord of the plain of soul. There's a multitude of lessons that man must learn, so we work through the ages till the test confirmed. And then man was clothed in flesh, so a carnal nature was full manifest. He had to pass through all of the ways of life. Without a forward soldier, never knows his strength, right? Saga continues. The saga continues. The saga continues. Look for me in the whirlwind, man can't die, no lie. Spirit man is one with the law, while God lives, man can't die. Me in the whirlwind, son. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Who's the Lord of the plane that manifests down here? Man will regain his lost estate on your squares. Claim your heritage, Moors fry your nerves. You do it in the conflict that can't be told in words. You must suffer trials and temptations manifold. But a great prophet came here to let you know. The cherubim and the seraphim that rule the stations of the stars. And the spirit of the mighty God, Allah, his protectors and his guidance will lead him to victory. Perfected by which he suffers throughout the past history. They'll stand untrammeled, facing unnumbered foes. You must overcome and overcome every one of those. Yea, though they walk through the valley of 1,000 nights, hope will forever be his beacon light. There's no failure for the human soul. You gotta just keep moving forward, you can't lose no Moors. Law's the cure, keep your body clean with water, your heart beat pure. Allah's leading on, the victory sure. Saga continues. The saga continues. The saga continues. Look for me in the whirlwind, man can't die, no lie. Spirit man is one with the law, while God lives, man can't die.
Relay race, keep the Tim's lace, pass the baton on, the torch, the weight of the world, hoping your arms strong. 50 in the clip, back in chest, chisel, stripping for law. Manifested from the flesh to the crystal. Want not the body, you can leave it like Emmanuel. Stop your fruit to stand stuck where men is fell. I see the patterns, the footprints, hurt clearly. I like an Egyptian saying, my sheep hear me. All ye Asiatics, ye angels. I'll be mighty race, ain't nothing you can't do. Cause they just looking live, laced with the swinging shot. Like Rocco looking out the window, paging for the clean shot. The short dribbles, get on the right side. Man, trip justice, Satan's neck collide with it. The kids of the world, you can't get inside with it. You must need a blessing, you can see that I did it.
Man can't die, no lie. Spirit man is one with the law, while God lives, man can't die. Look for me in the whirlwind. Man can't die, no lie. Spirit man is one with the law, while God lives, man can't die.
It's easy to point out the differences that we have, but it's about love and it's about unity. We must move away from ritualism, formalism, and custom.
One God, one name, one destiny. All we need now more is unity. One destiny, one destiny. One God, one aim, one destiny. The stars and the planets, the color to the clouds, the lion to the lamb, the mother to the child, the winners, the losers, the clock, the calendar, the dial. Victory is assured, the time is now. True can't hold back the flames of your heart, so headed for Rome, shoot through it like a harpoon. Serving justice, you should double take cover. Boy, the age of the Moors, yeah, that's me, York, the cover. Fresh out the water, get my gizmo on. United front, books and bitches, no palms. I know you used to Luther, but check out my love song. Either we making babies or getting our slug on. I mean, I'm all bodies gonna enjoy that butter love. With different great bodies run everything but a love. For the love, if you love it and live you love. Let the incense rise and pour down the sun. The bonds of affection make us one in his abode. The clasp of the palms sound like clouds when they explode. We marching with the soldiers or ironclad mode. Fighting the rival, man must be what he knows. One God, one aim, one destiny. All we need now more is unity. One destiny, one destiny. One God, one aim, one destiny. The stars and the planets, the color to the clouds, the lion to the lamb, the mother to the child, the winners, the losers, the clock, the calendar, the dial. Victory is assured, but the time is now. It's a letter to the grand chiefs, a message to the few. Made a will of a law, guide the actions that you do. This is the job of the bomb tech. Careful what you do. Next, a value for the human soul, made a force be with you. As you enter the grand test with symbols of Rex, splinters of the MSTFA, but still perfect. Gotta put this back together, but with no corrects, no adjustments, and we got no time left. Love ain't manifest. All light is a feather in your chest. You skin for infiltrators and forever no rest. This line is for the members. It's past time to surrender. There's no time to waste. Get your boots tied, more. Get your minds to remember. remember, set your soul on fire. It's a double-edged war. Each one, teach one the more. Flame on, holy seal, cause victory is sure. Put your hands on, we working towards excellent rewards. Earn yours. Finally, a message to the man in the mirror. Purity's a must, I can't put it any clearer. You lose your buddy's splinter, then get caught up in fear. 3 steps, be sincere, don't get left down here. Beat lust, don't stare, you're near, feel it in the air. Beat the clock like a stopwatch. This is the year, stop watching and fight for the throne, we're almost there. One aim, one destiny. We need now more is unity. One destiny, one destiny. One God, one aim, one destiny. The stars and the planets, the cart to the cloud. The lion to the lamb, the mother to the child. The winners, the losers, the clock, the calendar, the dial. Victory isn't sure, but the time is now.
Sounds like the theme music when it's wartime. And I must confess, I got a war mind. I'm fighting hatred, slander, lewdness. I'm fighting disrespect, I'm fighting rudeness. I'm fighting murders, I'm fighting thefts. I'm fighting shit I go right when they go left. Am I a rebel? Internal devil. David salute Goliath, I need those pebbles. Give me that slingshot, give me one shot. 95 fourth quarter, I feel like Mike. This the unity of life. You read chapter 3.
Wars on the Moor.
One aim, one destiny.
Woo! We need now more is unity. One destiny, one destiny. One God, one aim, one destiny. The stars and the planets, the cart to the cloud. The lion to the lamb, the mother to the child. The winners, the losers, the clock, the calendar, the dial. Victory isn't sure, the time is now.
It's easy.
I rise, giving praise to Allah, giving honor to his prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, giving honor to the forerunner of the prophet. It's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors. Y'all made me do it, ain't one door. Try to book the job when I was going through it. I said hit the streets, you wanna hit the streets, you wanna stay in the temple. Same speech, same talk, same walk, no bite. Well, alright, I'm Taharka Bey and I'ma handle that. My pocket broke to me, said handle that. Now front and center, front line. Look at y'all, want mine, but it ain't mine, it's God's plan, the law plan. Oh man, 2016, all you gonna see is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Old Moors, set aside, 34, come on, let's ride. Hey! It's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. I tell y'all. It's a new day for the Moors. Y'all believe me? Y'all believe me? Hey, it's a new day for the Moors. Y'all believe me? It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors. Kansas City, St. Louis, Detroit, people listening by a prophet of God. And you mean to tell me we can't go hard? I'm a whole of old, the one who rode the elephants over the Alps in the cold. Even went to Spain, rearranged the terrain. Even tried to civilize Cain. Now cipher 2016. I'ma show you what this means. My tassel roll 360. Do you really think you can tell me something doing safe? Do you know I look up the phone and bang? I roll with the prophet, I'm a prophet more. Follow the prophets, I'll profit more. Stop it more. I'm holding the world to make me drop it more. Now drop it more. It's a new day for the Moors. All right, let's go. It's a new day for the Moors. Let's go. Yeah. I'm feeling it now. It's a new day for the Moors. Yeah. It's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors. Oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors. Louisiana, Alabama, between you and I am the wisest. You never measure up because your household divided. How you gonna teach anybody but true when the people that love you, they don't believe you? Probably think you got some jail religion. Need to wash off that stench of prison. Speaking of prison, that's all y'all attract. And what about the children and y'all at that? Come scrap that. I ain't even tripping. I show you what happened when the law gives you vision. No government grants and no food stamps. What's up, man? From watching the ant, from watching my prophet and listen to a law. I'ma be a hell if I listen to y'all. Listen to y'all. Talking all Moors, walking around broke without the show for oh! What's up, man? For the Moors, yeah. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors.
Charlotte, Memphis, Cleveland, get in the car.
Hey, it's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors.
LA, Syracuse, Buffalo, get in the
Stop
car.
screaming, bragging about our greatness. Third, fourth generation see through the fakeness. They don't really care about the real or survivor. The primary focus is Gucci. Let's stop. Who you uplifting?
Nothing, nada.
Oh, who you uplifting?
Nothing, nada, nothing, nada, nothing, 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 nada.
Every day you can deny, say this was in the past. Every break, some will pass on you in your staff. My young boys coming, they're becoming more trained. But they want to love this is not supposed to sin. Hold up.
Protecting Jesus, I'm a truly apostle. Don't get hostile, cause I ain't no telling what I do for the gospel. Oh,
it's a new day for the Moor.
nothing, 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 nada.
Every day you can deny, day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors.
LA, Syracuse, Buffalo, get in the
Stop
car.
screaming, bragging about. It say, stop screaming, bragging about our greatness. Third and fourth generation see through the fakeness. They don't really care about Seville or Granada. Their primary focus is Gucci, Prada. Who you uplifting? Nothing, nada. Let's go. Our greatness, third and fourth generation see through the fakeness. They don't really care about Seville or Granada. Their primary focus is Gucci, Prada. Who you uplifting?
Nothing, nada.
Who you uplifting?
Nothing, nada.
Nothing,
Nada,
nothing,
nothing, nothing, nothing, nada.
Every lady gets your mind from the class, if you flex of a class on you, my young boys coming, they're becoming Moorish men, but before they learn to love, they're susceptible to sin. So watch your slander. My young boys coming, they're becoming Moorish men, but before they learn to love, they're susceptible to sin. So watch your slander. They got the hammer, kind of like Peter, protecting Jesus. I'm a Drew the apostle, don't get hostile, cause I ain't no telling what I do for the gospel. Oh, I'm a Drew the apostle, so don't get hostile, cause there ain't no telling what I do for the gospel. And you know who you are. Oh, it's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors.
San Diego, Portland, everybody get in the
Oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors. It's a new day for the Moors, oh yeah. It's a new day for the Moors.
East Coast, Midwest, down south, get in the
Oh yeah. Check it out. Time for the Moors to stand up, Moors. Stand up, Moors family. Everybody who think their conditions can be better, stand up. First and foremost, I rise giving praise to the great God of the universe, Allah. I thank Allah for waking me up today. I thank Allah. Now, I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about I thank Allah for waking me up. For waking me up. Are you awoke? I'm awoke. And I could care less with anybody think about my awakening. As long as this is pleasing in the sight of Allah. I give honors to his noble, illustrious prophet Noble Drew Ali. Well, fam, let's just get right into it. First of all, let's talk about it real quick. How y'all doing out there? First of all, let me first stop. And I ain't saying no hammer time. But everybody in the chat that can hear me right now, am I clear? I'm gonna try not to yell. Everybody in the chat, am I clear? Huh? Press 1 if I'm clear. And I'm going to show y'all these CDs, but press 1 if I'm clear. Because I want y'all to do me a favor. If I'm clear, press 1. Can everybody hear me? I see Nas. Okay, good. And I want everybody that's in the chat, if y'all in there, want y'all all to wish Sister Dawn Wright Ill a happy birthday. Can y'all type it in there before we get started, man? We got to acknowledge our people, man. This, the beautiful sister, Dawn Wright Ill. She's in the chat. Let's wish her a happy birthday because this has become a family here. Let's wish our family happy born day, happy manifestation day. All our people that's all caught up. That she's here. There we go. Praise the Lord. There we go. Happy birthright, happy born day, happy manifestation day, because we know that some haven't made it to this chat room today because they returned back to the essence. So let's just keep it like it is, and let's just keep it like that. And now we're gonna move on. Soul of Return. That's what I'm talking about. Born Day, Earth Day, Soul of Return. That's right. That's how we doing our family. You know, and anybody in the chat, when I find out it's your day, we're gonna acknowledge our family like that. But look, we got something serious going on today. But first, let me tell you about my yesterday. I'm gonna try to keep my voice down. You know, man, I be going in, man. I be having a good time, man. Listen, man, Allah is amazing. He have allowed me to experience so much in such a short a time. You know, but nevertheless, let me tell you about this weekend. Yesterday, I had the honor to hang out with my brother Red Pill, and let me tell you something. I was impressed. I'm gonna tell you right now. I was impressed. I am a hard brother to impress, and when it relates to the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I am hard to impress. I done been around the best. I done been around those who think they're the best, and I done been around the rest. And I'm hard to impress. Y'all don't steal that. I done been around the best. I done been around those who thought they were the best, and I done been around the rest. And I'm hard to impress. You feel me? But I'm telling you, this brother, I thought he was going to catch me off guard and spin me left field, because I thought the brother had the demonstration called The Fear of a Black Messiah, a Blackamoor Messiah. Now, we know that Red Pill and Blue Pill, they subscribe to being Moorish or Moors, whatever. But nevertheless, they you know, they hang with my brother Sinetta, and they do their own thing. They got their own lane created, and I really respect the hustle. So I would never ever disrespect the hustle. I respect the hustle. But I have found a newfound respect when this brother. Let me tell you, that first of all, I was surprised to see Baltimore pack the room, not only for Brother Polite, but I seen the room packed for Red Pill. But now, like I said, because he may use the term black, and then the title was Blackamoor, I told him face to face. I said, brother, you caught me off guard with that degree right there. You caught me way off guard. But I was impressed. The brother went in, and basically, I hope he put it on DVD or digital, or give me a copy. Most likely, hopefully, I'll get a copy when he get it edited or whatever. But what he was talking about is that basically that's how they refer to us. They called us black. They called us Moors. They call us Blackamoor. But whatever they choose to call us, they fear the rise of the Messiah through us, and that's what the presentation was about. And man, this brother, man, he was speaking my language. He went all the way to I like conspiracy theories. He went all the way through that. It was such a pleasure to see this brother demonstrate, because when you see him on 125, that doesn't do him any justice when it comes to his presentation. His presentation, it was informative, it was funny. I mean, he kept me laughing, you know, he kept the crowd laughing, and it held my attention. I have ADHD, you know what I mean? Not the European ADHD. I'm just all over the place sometimes. And it takes a little bit more to hold my attention. But this brother held my attention from time he started to the time he ended. Now, you know, I'm so busy, so my phone was jumping, but my ear was on him. I was in my phone doing my little business, But anyway, it was beautiful, and hopefully we can get a copy of that. This brother, he gave that demonstration up. 125th Street, do not do this brother any justice when you see him on the mic. You need to see him do this presentation. Oh, it's amazing. But nevertheless, let's move on from that. He's coming back to Baltimore soon. Also, Brother Polite be in Baltimore on December the 17th. But nevertheless, what we have here today, another thing, let me touch on this real quick. How much time we got? Let me touch on this real quick. So last week, me and the brothers, Ali Bey and my brother Grimion, we decided to touch on a topic where they pointed out Ali Bey, you know. and point out Ali Bey saying he doesn't know what he's talking about civics. He don't know what he's talking about George Prudence. And they actually, this group of brothers, you know, I love the brothers for real. I don't know why they so angry, you know, calling everybody dirty Moors, like little children, you know what I mean? They're dirty Moors. I can't talk to dirty Moors. Dirty Moors. Like little children and all that. Man, I'm not with the name call, whatever. My thing is this. I would tell anybody, you are welcome to the show, and I will give you your position in your time. I will let you have your position and your time. If I have a opposing position, I may get worked up a little bit, but it's not nothing serious. It's not like I'm worked up and I want to punch you in your face. I don't want you to die. I want you to have a good time. I want you to have a nice life. I want you to be prosperous. I want you to get everything that's yours. I don't want to see nothing evil, bad to happen to you or your family or anybody that's close to you, period. But can we have a grown-up conversation? Is that possible to have a grown-up conversation and talk about how it's beneficial to me to not have a driver's license, not have insurance? Isn't that fair? Can you tell me what this case search mean? What is in-law and of-law and outlaw? What does all this stuff mean? Because I don't know. I just need some help. I'm trying to get my benefits if it's a benefit in it. That's it. All I want to know is how can I benefit? What's the benefit? I don't care about the terminology, jurisprudence. You don't know jurisprudence. Okay, cool, fine. Show me what I need to do to get my bread right. That's all I want to know. My people out there, they broke. They need a couple dollars. We need to get our bread right. All that old trick talk, that old language talk, I'm not interested in that. So with that, family, if you want to come on the show, you know, come on the show. But let's keep it respectful and let's move forward as a family, not as enemies. I'm not your enemy. And I'm going to say you by name, Cujo. I'm not your enemy. Okay? Canaan Moors, I'm not your enemy. You know what I mean? But if you got a way to help me get my finances right, give me a call. But don't give me the mumbo jumbo, because I done heard it all. I done been around the best. I done seen the rest. And I ain't impressed. I don't know what I said, but anyway, with that being said, it's Stone, brother. You on the line? It's Stone? Yes, sir. I can hear you, brother. I'm talking to the family in the chat right now. Right now, man, brother, let me tell you something. Let me make sure the family can hear you first. I'm going to sit this down. All right, let me hear you say something, my brother.
Peace, solely in the families of the planet Earth. Thanks for having me on, my brother Taharka. And love and light to all Asiatics, both declared and undeclared.
Okay, my brother. Now check this out. Family, can y'all hear my brother speak? Can you understand him clearly? Press 1 if you can hear my brother and understand him clearly. Okay, we good. They said loud and clear. So look, first of all, let my brother introduce himself to the people, and then we'll just take it from there. And I'm telling you, this is not planned. I don't do planned interviews. I don't bum rush people. I don't ambush people. I don't do that. I don't do that to my family, most importantly, you know. And if it wasn't my family on the show, I might. But my family, I don't do those types of things. That ain't my style anyway. But nevertheless, brother, welcome into the chat, brother. Introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and let's get this conversation rolling, my brother. Aseer, you hear me, my brother?
I'm here, my brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear, my brother. Let the people know who you are. Just introduce yourself, where you from, who you are. For those that have been hiding under the rock, we're going to move that rock and make it a solid rock, a foundation, a head cornerstone. Let the people know who you are, my brother.
Islam, everyone. Thank you for having me on once again. My name is, I'm called Aseer the Dugatir. I've been conscious, so-called, if that's even a word anymore, conscious member of what people perceive the conscious community, or what was conscious community, growing up in New York. I've been researcher, natural historian, you know, lecturer, specifically within the areas of dealing with metaphysics and as well as, like I said, natural history, as well as jurisprudence, which is the positive application of law, and the understanding of the inherent balance that we have as original people between the spirit and, you know, the flesh. So in the process of attaining things and going through things, out of all the various sciences that made sense to me or that came about, Moorish science in particular always resonated just due to family things that I remember growing up, learning as a child. And then me sometimes rebelling against that information and finding out some of that information was actually true. So over the years, I strive to create a syllabus, if you will, of work that people who, like me, who are coming up at a time where you want the right or what you could consider reputable, credible information to be disseminated in a way where you can integrate it into your everyday life and not feel ostracized and things like that by doing so. But what I found was it was a lot of people who knew but wasn't saying, and then the people who were saying really didn't know. So I realized after going through certain circumstances, like a lot of people, that if I was going to figure out anything with this thing, I would have to get it myself. However, that was. And then I realized in doing that how word, sound, power actually bring that into play. You know what I mean? Like, how much are you willing to get what ours? Because what this information does, not just Moorish information, but just any type of thing that consciously takes you outside of the context of what has been predisposed for you to be into. Anything outside of that norm, you're going to feel a backlash, being that there are certain things within this society and even in our own community that is there to impede any self-word reflection and acquisition of self to the point where you can exist with your own distinct identity. And once I realized that most of this consciousness stuff was about attracting people to ideology without any real substance-based, motivated base outside of capitalism, I realized that if I ever got to the position to figure out a lot of things that actually worked in real time, I would share that as best as I could, while at the same time strive to remain outside of what was becoming a battleground, you know what I mean, in terms of consciousness, where people, you know, were acting as champions of ideologies, representing people that look exactly like the people they speaking against. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It just became very, very obvious to me that there was a concerted effort to keep the confusion going, more so than bringing the clarity. And I found that sometimes in bringing clarity to situations, it actually made people more confused. So I realized the only way to really help myself and do my part would be to work with people as a private consult individually and help build a private constituency that actually can live through love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, equality, while at the same time enjoying the spoils of war, being that we as Moors or Asiatics or so-called captured Africans, whatever you want to call it, because we are all prisoners of war. After the war done, you're supposed to receive the spoils, especially if the war ended with a treaty of friendship. And so because we have that, we can benefit from that today, yet we cannot do that if we are constantly trying to talk ourselves out of doing things like that, all for the sake of keeping people domesticated, keeping people paying dues, keeping people, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Depending upon you. When really we need to depend on ourselves and build up each other.
Islam. So, brother, you know, when I put out the demonstration that you would be on the show, brother, I got a whole bunch of rah, rah, rah. Why would you put him on the show? Then I got
Oh man, that's a good brother. Then I got, well, that brother, this and that, then this and that, this and that, this and that. My brother, all the information that I pulled on you, because I've never met you, and it's a pleasure, because, and I'm saying it's a pleasure due to the fact that all the information that I pulled on you, brother, I was supremely impressed. You know, maybe I missed something that they talking about. I don't know, but man knows not by being told, and I never go by what people tell me. Yeah, I never did, never will. You know, I go by my own research, and then I make my own decision. But nevertheless, brother, I was very impressed, very, very impressed. And that makes for an easy conversation. that make my job easy. Makes for a very easy conversation. And first, what I named this was Aseer, the Duke of Tears. And then I got, my questions are, politically, what just happened? And what I'm talking about is what just happened with Donald Trump getting into office, and the last 8 years, what was that? You know, and I guess you can get what I'm getting, I guess you can feel what I'm getting to with that, but what was that last 8 years with Barack Obama, and what just happened in this election, brother? If you want to speak on that freely, please do.
It's fine. Well, first, to dovetail off the first thing you said, the reason why you get so many different views, I guess, or reviews about me or whatever, is because most people really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not out there advertising. It's just, if it don't happen constantly on Facebook or live stream, then it's not real to people. So the actual work of, the actual day-to-day work of dealing with people all over the country and the world even, and helping them in their individual processes become solvent, where they can stand in a national identity, consolidated, you know what I mean, as free-thinking Asiatics, is something that is not gonna jive with everybody, because most people, or most of our people, are coming from a highly suggestible position. So a lot of people tend to agree with, most people agree with things that they already believe anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So if I start kind of talking about things like, well, you know, the certain so-called black organizations joining up with the Church of Scientology and things like that, you know what I mean? That is a problem for people who are in those organizations, you see what I'm saying, who are living that, but then at the same time don't want to accept what is happening, and how there's somebody that's not a part of something like that directly, you see what I'm saying, know more about it than me. So a lot of the issues is really just because I'm not one to entertain a lot of the back and forth, you know, show and prove to me this and that, let's die for the people. Like, who's going to live for the people? Who's going to create a situation by which hope is not enough? You know what I mean? Where actual doing comes from that. That's why the ticket that the person they call Obama came in on was this wave of hope and optimism that came out of nowhere, because prior to his candidacy, the country was basically in revolt, same way it is now. The only difference back then was it was more blatantly coming in the fog of this is a democracy, a real government, is starting to fade, and people are starting to see that this is really just about a certain group of people keeping everybody else out of everything. So he now represented the possibility, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Of hope for someone to establish it. So he could literally not do anything for so-called black people. The mere presence of him in that seat unlocked certain things within all of us, you know what I'm saying, and other nationalities and races, that brought a different respect that was not there within the black community for the so-called United States government. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the United States of America, the country. I'm talking about the United States, 7 miles by 7 miles squares out of Washington, D.C., those people. So him being there allowed them another 8 years to exist without being foreclosed on and things like that. You see what I'm saying? Just for the fact that he was Asiatic. But as you can see, that did nothing in real time for Asiatics, i.e. undeclared blacks or whatever, in a referendum against police brutality, a moratorium against, you know what I mean, reckless, unsanctioned, what they call judicialist executions, like what we see in traffic stops and stuff. What we also see is the rise now through this personage that we call Obama of the so-called conscious community, but also the demise of it at the same time. Do you think it's a coincidence that at the same time he started coming in, all the debates and the infighting and stuff started within the so-called community? Where everybody wants to promote their agenda above the communal way of doing it. Is this my way or the highway? Like all of that was a part of the Obama administration. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people like Phil and Bobby and these type of people did tapes and things like that on Obama explaining the spiritual and all that significance, that also helped propel him to that situation. Because believe it or not, the conscious aspect of all of us, whether you were Moor or Hebrew or Chemite or whatever you are, if you are giving energy into the primordial source, which is the knowledge of your true self, which manifests as arm, leg, arm, head, meaning that you give the Godhead a form, and of that form, you draw energy from through the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You get to that. That's what we all are striving to do. But not all of us are striving to do it the same way, and that's where the problem is. Because we have grown up in a European way of doing things. So even though we had a so-called black president, he still was running a European society. Understand the way Europeans would do it.
Islam.
Do little things over. But he, as the only one with a nationality, like remember when they was talking about he wasn't born here and all of that, and they started going in on his birth certificate? Who was doing that? Who started the birth movement? Donald Trump.
That's right.
So in that, they heckled him, right?
That's right.
Then when people find out that the Hawaii he was talking about was in Kenya, right? They jumped all over that, right? Because people don't even know that there's a Hawaii Kenya, right? But let's go from there. Once he came out and said that he was of Moroccan ancestry, all that stuff stopped, right? Nobody talked about the birth certificate thing. All of that was out the window. Why? Because, and remember, he come from Chicago, right?
That's right.
And let's talk about it. Most of the people in his cabinet was Muslims. I did a whole tape, a recording on YouTube called Muslims versus Muslims, where I was trying to discuss the fact that, you know, there was a distinction at one time, and now because we're in this Western society where they like to use words interchangeably, quote unquote, they try to make it seem like it's all the same thing, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was, then it would be two different things. You would have two different names, you know what I'm saying? So I could call you a Negro and I could call you a Moor, but which one have standing in some sort of international law? Not Negro.
Right.
So a rose by any other name is just as sweet. Yet, if I see a rose and call it a rock, you're going to think I'm crazy.
Pretty much.
Right? So if we're really getting into the root of what this guy was there to do, he was just there to give you or all of us hope on a spiritual level. And then all the grassroots work was supposed to be done. But on his watch, they murdered Prince and Michael Jackson and all of these people, right? All these people, we don't know what happened to them. Dr. Sadie, Francis Wilson, a lot of these people Sadie was just one of 85 to 90 different holistic doctors that was murdered within the span of 3 years. How come nobody's investigating that? All the lawyer TV cop shows I see, that's called a pattern, right?
Yeah.
It's called the sequence of events, right? But nobody's investigating that because there's nothing within the black community that is allowed for us to investigate our own situation, because everybody in the black community worked for somebody outside the black community. black people forming their own police force, their own neighborhood watch, right? Where they have their own investigators, forensic facilities, and stuff like that, right? Pulled together to do that. They'd rather invest their business in opening up strip clubs and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's a mentality. So we can't hope to save, or you can't hope to save people like that. You know, whenever Obama was one of the first presidents where they made like little comedy skits for him during the whole type of thing. Because you always got to keep the white people happy. You always got to be smiling. You always got to let them know that you're playing the game. And then you do little things to show that you still got heart, like when he dropped the mic and stuff like that. So all of that is to keep us interested. Remember, this whole thing is theater. After World War II, all of the clandestine agencies sponsored or influenced by the OSS got together and agreed to create a universal, or how you say, nationwide, international theater by which the goal would be to use false wars as a means to propagate business. Understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So the hit on Gaddafi wasn't a political assassination. It was political assassination on the top, but on the bottom, that was all about corporate espionage and resource. That's not just sponsored by people in the United States government. They don't have the power to just off somebody. That got to come from the people that's paying their salaries. I'm not talking about the so-called taxpayers. I'm talking about, secret president and what they call shadow government, which is really a conglomeration of people all over the world who get certain emails and texts and they have to vote on them every day. And these are people of influence and all over, and this way the anonymity of who's actually voting for this or that, you don't really know. Then somebody who's actually put in place to do whatever the work is, they go and they carry it out, and then somebody else comes and makes it look like it's this or that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
There's
sir.
a TV show on right now on Netflix called Power, where the whole thing is about how these people go. This guy has a business where he cleans up crime scenes and they finally get involved with the mob. And now he's not only cleaning the crime scenes, he's cleaning the crime scenes of the mob hits, but then making it look like the people killed themselves. That's how deep this theater has become. So it's a game. So when they say it's a game, the big new Brzezinski wrote a book called The Grand Chessboard. And all you got to do is read it. Everything that they're doing is already in print. So when they do it, you understand, the president, who is the trustee for the whole corporation, right, not the country, talking about the government, the incorporated government and its subsidiary agency, that all have done in Bradstreet numbers, that all have to give accounting for the stuff they do. They're only doing this because the people have no idea of how the government works. Because these same clandestine agencies, which were forbidden to things like posse comitatus and things like that, to come on and do their business on American people, that was lifted after Roswell. But they was doing that from the Tuskegee experiment and all of that. But the Tuskegee Airmen were promoted to black people as the finest this and that. Because these were the descendants of the people that they were doing these experiments on. Everybody talk about George Washington Carver and all that. He was the one who invented the automobile. He was the one that created what we understand as the assembly line and all of this stuff. You know what I mean? But what does he get? He gets reduced to a peanut, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And when he was alive, people would make fun of him because of his voice and because these white people basically treated him like he was a white man, because he was to them. Henry Ford didn't look at him the way that he looked at the other one based on the status he had. But the other reason why is because they castrated him when he was 13, 14. You understand what I'm saying? So this is Elijah Muhammad, when he was a little boy, he was an old white man. His white man was getting crazy with the white people, and stuff, when he was starting to see his Moorish towns and stuff like that over the country. And this old white man was there, and he was getting on the bus, He had just been cursed out by one, but the old white man was kind of like smiling at him at the side. So I started beckoning him to come forward. So, you know, white people at this time, if somebody being nice to you, you're going to go to them, I guess. And as he goes up to him, the man holds out his hand to show him something. And when he looks in his hand, he sees it's a little black ear. Understand what I'm saying? Imagine what that does to you psychologically at a time where you don't even know that you actually have a real nationality other than the history that these people are giving. And now this old, nasty white man is showing you an ear that looks just like yours. What does that do psychologically to somebody? So imagine that happening to him, but amplify that by 300 years to over 300, let's say, what was the last number, 17 million? Let's say 25 million of us for 300 years straight, going through this fake understanding. So by the time somebody, where they could conjure somebody like Obama, who has the height and the remnants of people like Malcolm and Martin and Medgar, right? And all of these people, right? So of course he's gonna win. Of course he's gonna be the most elegant or whatever, because that's what he had to be. Not just to maintain their society, but to give us some sort of self-esteem. So the reverse now has happened. Where black people were when Obama got elected is now white people are in the same place now as now that Trump is elected. So it's reversed. So the feeling of hope and everything is now being replaced by other people.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Despair is not coming from the fact that he's there. We've been watching this. Come on, man. This nigga was in the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin, who body slammed him on the table. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which Trump you talking about? The one with the red tie or the blue tie? The one with the blonde hair or the red hair? Like, which one is all theater? Because they took the United States to court to get the right to promote false news. And they won. So nothing we're seeing is real. So the only thing that you can decide that is real is what you decide is real to you. So I can say it till I'm blue in the face. But I'm not going to say that any reader was above reproach, because it's not true. We're all men. But the very fact that we've been dealing with this for real, really since 1492. You understand? The Civil War started with us in 1511 in Baton Rouge, the same place they killed Tom Sterling, however many hundred years later. So this, again, is a grand ritual now where we're trying to go back to Dixieland. We're trying to go back to the time when America was great. But what made America great was that the white man was willing to eat himself to win. So in order for people to have a semblance of community, something had to exist. And out of that came things like the Moorish Science Temple. The Prophet was in the Ahmadiyya movement. There was things in that was great, but I'm sure he looked around, it's like, but wait, you're talking about all of the science and this and that, but the people you describe in these books ain't y'all. So you know what? I'm gonna go and research this Moorish thing. We're gonna get that popping. But he came at the time of a vacuum based on what happened to Garvey. So when Garvey was taken down, and then the British government put out this thing where all of the people from the Caribbean and Jamaica, but in particular, could come to Britain and live and work and receive all the stuff that Garvey was doing, but with them. You see what I'm saying? That left a vacuum for the ones like us that's looking at that like, yo, all that bullshit. I'm not dealing with none of that. So what's the alternative for me? So here comes the prophet. See what I'm saying? But then in the process of that, you gotta understand, he's also coming at a time where he's got knowledge of himself, just like us today, but he's in a society where all of his people are one opposite. And out of now the Moorish Science Temple come every other so-called black consciousness movement that came.
That's right.
And what you say. I don't care who you bring it to me. If they was after 1913, they had something to do with the temple, or somebody was involved. I one day just get knowledge of self, put on a fez, get my first fez, feeling like I'm doing something. I go to my grandmother's house now, who's devout Christian, all of that. come in the door, first thing she looked at me, she said, "Oh, you a Moor now?" I looked at her like, "What? You know what this is?" She was like, "Do I know what this is?" She's like, "Yeah, I know a lot of eels and bays from the temple." And it's, so I'm like, so when I was talking to you about all of this knowledge and wisdom and stuff I'm learning, you shooting me down like, but that's when I started to see. Understand? We have the people who was for the empire in our blood and the people that was against the empire in our blood at the same time. That's why the prophet said that we are the truth and falsehood strangely mixed. You know what I'm saying? So the higher self or the lower self is a constant. That's the Jacob's ladder going back and forth. That we have to figure out which side we go, whether we walk it or we ride it, as they say. But we ain't. But when you were more, you ain't gotta put on no apron to do that. And that's the other thing, is that we're so indoctrinated into the European way of understanding things like esotericism, nature, and things like that, that we still doing things that we as Moors, when was teaching it, was not doing. The Moors teaching these mulatto Freemasons was not wearing aprons when they was teaching them. The people that was teaching was wearing aprons. Period. You can't show me the girdle of somebody like Ramses and tell me that that's what that is. No, that's not that. That's Ramses. That was not an apron. Gee, that was the lower half of the tunic, or what was called the holy girdle. So you want to make that now because that's the order that you pledged and you've been in it 35 or 50 years and all of that, and that's fine. But don't impugn me because I realized that I was born on the square. I don't need a physical compass or a physical thing to do that. I don't even need to wear a fez or a turban. I choose to do that. You understand? I choose to do that because that is a representation of the Godhead to me. So you could say whatever, the white man created that and y'all wear it. Like, the white man did not exist in ancient Mesopotamia. And on the walls, they're wearing the same thing I got on my head today. So what, the white man created that too? Don't let nobody, listeners, don't let nobody scare you off of your own culture or your own common sense. This has nothing to do with me, with likes. You know what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with a cult of personality. I'm trying to build and you're trying to build around just this. Has nothing to do with that.
So brother, let me get back. Let me get back to this political thing. What happened with Hillary? Because everybody seemed to expect that. And the reason why I'm asking you these, I'm bringing it back to that because I reviewed some of your work and I know that you are pretty sharp on these topics. And I know the people they probably still blown away. What happened?
Well, it's like this. In my research on it, Donald was the shill. In con games and stuff, you got the mark, right? You got the wing, you know what I mean? The ringer, the wingman, the shill. So he was the shill. He was the one that came in as the big bad wolf to make it look better. And he was basically using that to create leverage, to get it to a point where she now could overpower him, and now the legacy and dream of the first woman president, white woman president, rising up would then be sanctified because she slew the dragon who was Donald, to the point he was got red hair. So what happened though was that the ignorant white racist media championed him. You understand? Because once at that first rally, that was when he could have stopped it. Because if he'd have stopped it and be like, "Nah, don't do that to that black person. That's horrible. We're not running that campaign," they would have said, "He's not real." The fact that he let it go opened it up for them now to say that he is not scared of the colors. So we can back him. And so more and more Confederates and these people, because see, the thing is, he's backed by Jews. They hate the Jews. So they hate him, but they don't hate him enough. You understand? everybody else now. She's with the real upper conglomerate. So remember, these Caucasian people who see the Oregon stuff and all that, these people came out of the Tea Party. Remember that? They don't talk about that no more.
That's right.
But those are the people that got this dude in. The Tea Party came out of the Democratic Party through the grassroots Jim Crow white male Rotarian organizations, i.e. Freemason organizations that worked and funded the Klan to be able to bring everybody in. Remember, the Democrats was founded by Jefferson. Jefferson was a self-hating mulatto who kept his own people as slaves and did experiments on them. Okay? He created the Democratic Party. Before Jefferson, the only party the majority was the Republican, and those were all Moor, black people. Vote fine, check it. But regardless to all of that, that is the energy that backed Trump. And then he used that now to filibuster himself to the top, where his antics were more entertaining than Italy. And then Italy's health started to wane. Then they started bringing up all the Benghazi stuff, right? But he was really just in it, in my opinion. He was just in it to get more influence and money out of these people by bowing out. So once it got to the point where he won, look at the picture of him at the second they took when he won, his face. He didn't want that. You don't want this. Why would you, a billionaire, take a $25 billion pay cut? Like, why would you do that? To take a job that only paid what, $175,000, $275,000, and then you gotta get up in the morning and all that. This nigga ain't got up in the morning on his own like that in years. So now he gotta do this, and he gotta now really listen to other people. He don't do that. He wasn't doing that on The Apprentice. He gave you a task in The Apprentice, and you had to do it, right? And if you did it, what? You're fired. So what did he show you? He's draconian. It's either this or that, right? So in that, you already know where you stand with him. What he also did was use to bring about the destruction then of the Democratic Party itself. You understand? Because now the very fact that the whole thing about the Klan and the racism and these people coming out of the Democratic aspect of that now makes you look at Obama crazy. See what I'm saying? Remember, they passed off that white woman as his mother.
Yeah.
Remember, he grew up with NASA astronauts as uncles. Okay? So we're not talking about the same thing. He grew up in 3 different continents. Okay? So you don't really know who that person is. You understand? You don't know who anyone is. All you know is what you can find out for yourself. So if you can know yourself, that means the more you investigate self through who you are, the more you can attain. So now that Trump, right, winds up winning, now this exposes his dirt, because on December 14th, he's got to go to court for pedigree charges. I don't know if y'all know about that. He has to face indicted for child molestation, because his man, who had a pedo party, right, was raping little girls and boys and stuff at the party, and invited allegedly invited this person who is now the president-elect to this party, and allegedly he did this to this girl who was chained to the bed. Now, the interesting thing is that the guy, he's already in jail. It's already a known fact. The party happened. These people were doing this to these children. You understand? So it's not conjecture, whatever, because he's already convicted for it. It was at his house. So when this guy goes to court, he has to answer to what happened on a crime that was already done. You understand? So it's going to be interesting to see how they flip that. While at the same time now, right after that, he got to go to court for scamming everybody with the Trump University thing. You understand? This is right before, this is the person that they allowed to be president. So what this is also is the last gasp of Rome, the last gasp of white supremacy, or what we perceive as white supremacy. This is the last gasp, or excuse me, what people call white supremacy, which is really about freedom, you know what I'm saying, or slavery. Earth was turned into a slave colony a long time ago. And the Moors came and fixed a lot of it. And then they lost their noble nature and devolved into the pits. And then from their biological, right, their biological failures, meaning the people who became the conquistadors and these type of people. You got to stop blaming these imaginary Caucasian people for things that happened in history when it wasn't even there like that. They had no sway of power nowhere else but in the little pockets that they were allowed that. And they only did that at the behest of whatever plantation. George Washington grew up on the Cameron plantation. It wasn't the Washington plantation. So in that, we're talking about a history that is now about to be unfolded before us, that people like the Prophet, people like Garvey, people like Elijah, these people in their higher selves were trying to get us to see. The problem was people have deified them, and the people who allowed these people to be deified and turned into gods, which they were, but not gods to be worshipped. They were gods who were supposed to lead by example, in my opinion. And in the process of that, the people who were raised in Rome, who were raised on idolatry, all they could really do at the time was take that and turn them into what they did, which then led to the demise of these movements and every movement since then. So now we're at the time now where all bets is off, where they finally elected an open racist, right? But he's not just a racist to black people, he's a racist to Mexicans and everybody but the gays and the Jews. So what does that say for regular white people? See what I'm saying? There's more people getting beat up in the Black Lives Matter thing that's Caucasian than black. Because Black Lives Matter is being funded again by George Soros. The Panthers and other organizations like the Nation and other things was funded by these people too. Because the only way you can control the people is to fund the opposition and the direct opinion. You know what I'm saying? You have to fund both at the same time. You don't just fund one, that's bad business. Yeah. So it's the same thing with anything else. If you're only reading one book and you're in a library full of them, then the limitation is not the book, it's you. You know what I'm saying? So now that this guy is president, right, what does that mean? Black people going to the camps on January 2nd? No. Because if that happened, who gonna drive the buses?
That's right.
Of the trash.
That's right.
Who gonna go to the train station and give you the tokens? Who gonna get dressed and clean the house and pick up the Jewish lady and the rich white people, children and all that? Who gonna do that? The Mexicans? Would you give me? So let's say, yeah, you gonna give it all the black people. He talking about getting rid of Mexicans too. So who left? So if the Mexicans go and the blacks go, who gonna be the ones picking up the white people garbage then? Who? The Chinese people? They got their own country. They got their own military. Crazy. It's gonna have to be who? It's gonna have to be the who's left. Remember, white people make up 64% of the so-called American United States populace, but only 31% of that 64% is actually what we would see phenotypically Caucasian. And prior to 1945, half of the people that's claimed as white and Caucasian now, during that time when they set this BS up, was not even considered that. It made books about this. There's white people walking around right now with straight Moorish ancestry in they old books, but they keep that side of the family secret. Only until Lily come one day with, or Susie come one day with Raheem, you know what I'm saying, for college, and now they scared that now the melanin attraction, you see what I'm saying, that existed in the family is now trying to redistribute itself in the union now that she's bringing to them. That's what the whole Black Snake Moan was about. Slavery was all about castrating black males. It wasn't you could say it's about land, you could say all of that, but in the end with this white man, we're dealing with the Neanderthal perspective. And I'm only speaking of those who function from this basic fact that it's always been a sexual thing with them, with us. All they do now is effeminate black men to make them unappealing to black women. But instead of them becoming solely unappealing to black women are so merciful that they're willing to still deal with these dudes just to procreate and keep the race going. While some of these sisters then are doing the opposite. Why? Because the fear that has been ingrained in us by not having a nationality, by not having an estate, an inheritance, and a trust, and a rites of passage outside of what has been prescribed for us under the Negro designation of the 14th, 15th, 16th Amendment, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, that only started after the Civil War, which then means then that we Moors now are either functioning from post-Civil War statutes and amendments or pre-Civil War rights. You see what I'm saying? Unalienable rights and international prestige and recognition as royal Muslims. There's books where they've actually made the distinction. And they said that the Spanish came in and basically renamed everything and forced Moors to dress in a habit that was outside of them. And so as we become fractured, our empires, kingdoms, and dominions become countries, nations, and states. So you can hate the Moors, you can say this about the Moors and this and that, but guess what? You wouldn't know what a light was. You wouldn't know what a running toilet was. You wouldn't know what an aqueduct was. You wouldn't know what an armillary was. You wouldn't know what toilet paper is. You wouldn't know what ink is. You wouldn't know what writing, mathematics. You understand what I'm saying? Geometry, chemistry, alchemy. You wouldn't know the periodic table. You understand? Because the Moors, the high priests of Anu, is what Moor means in hieroglyphs. We were the ones that preserved it. But when I say we, I'm talking about those of us that maintain the habit. The Fez is not something created by white people. It was a spiritual thing. It goes back to the ancient Canaanites that would always dress like that you see on the walls of ancient Babylon and Persia, and they would always be in the white with the white feathers. But as the war started, one of them in particular, who was of the most faithful, they were known for dying without giving up their faith. So they finally put him in a position to kill him, and then when they did, all the blood washed on the white fez, which then turned it red. And so when they went to go get the body, though, the body was gone, and all that was left was the fez. So that the fez became a symbol of perpetual liberty for all mankind from that point on. That's why all them Sunday school Bibles we had, they all was wearing turbans and fez. The only people that was in helmets was the Romans, because they were the ones who rebelled against God. But when I say God, I'm talking about the Godhead, us living in the higher self and creating spiritual communities that could exist on a multi-dimensional level. Them pyramids in Giza and down here was built on the 5th, the 6th, 7th dimension before they materialized here, before we actually materialized them here. That's why nobody can say how we did it. But we know who did it based on all the images and the pictures that we left that show us as the ones doing it. But they'll make a movie called Gods in Egypt. See what I'm saying? And people will go and see it and think that. And not now. That movie was banned in Morocco. That movie was banned in Egypt. Because even the Hagarenes are tired of seeing people portray Asiatics and not themselves. So now what? We're in this new era now because this guy's president is going to get worse. Of course it's going to get worse, but it's been getting worse since it started. But what has happened is that these Moors have domesticated themselves and have a vested interest in this society maintaining and keeping it going. Believe it or not. And I'm talking about the ones that's speaking against it. They have a vested interest, because if one day you're able to do all of this yourself, what you need them for? And then that's when people who do this type of thing realize that they don't have nothing outside of constantly inspiring people what to do. And that's what deadens the heart and the spirit of the truth that they're trying to relay. But they've been doing it so long and people have been using it and abusing it to the point where they've done. So now they're just about getting money. But right when they start feeling like that is right when stuff start moving and they start activating. You see what I'm saying? So you got some people that's totally about the people dying and all that, but they got an Army Reserve card just in case. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, That's how it's gonna be. So you can't stop people from doing that. So-called black people have allowed Jesse Jackson to name them.
Yes, sir.
And the word African American in the context that they use it today was coined by so-called Jesse Jackson, one of the conspirators in the death of their God, Michael Luther King. So if he can name you, you understand what I'm saying? Then anybody can. Don't you notice when you take jobs, or when black so-called Asiatic, they'll take jobs and stuff. They'll get on a job, and once you start talking to these white people and other people, they start nicknaming you. So if your name is Jamal, hey Mar, you know what I mean? Your name is, you know what I mean, Christopher, hey Chris. Like, don't call me Chris, call my whole name. That is an intrinsic thing. You think that's just regular. No, it's always racial with these people. And I'm sorry that people are upset and whatever. But you have to understand, for 240 years, they have done things with, you have people who pass down genitals from family to family as heirlooms. More, there's a whole community, a secret community of white people where they trade old black trophies from these periods. And these people be married, and then some of their daughters stuff be married to black people. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of you coming clean and dealing with that, no. Today is a new day, we're going to move on. But guess what? The chromosome that's in them that they passed on to the daughter, that the daughter's going to pass on to this kid with the black man, is still there. And it's going to manifest somehow. Because we don't understand the benefit of, we have a specific genetic signature that makes us unstoppable in the higher self. So the goal is to keep everybody in the lower self, so that way you'll never access that part of the brain that does that. And then what we'll do is we'll create movies and TV and everything to show every other race with superpowers and stuff but you. But when we do your movies, we're always going to show you having to rise from what we've done to you. So this is a psychological, pathological, passed down, generational, negative inheritance that is propagated now through now even aspects of what used to be the so-called conscious community in the divisive aspects of everybody banging on each other based on an ideology. But really it's just about money. It's about that old scene in Malcolm X when he was on 125th Street and you had the Nation of Islam here and you had the Baptists here and you had the other one here and it was all on soapbox. And whoever spoke the loudest, whoever had the best charisma, attracted the biggest crowd, and then eventually they was the one. It's the same thing happening now. And it's sad, because you would think we know better, but we don't, because we can't. Because the coming together can't happen until the acknowledgement of the divisiveness and where it started and how it's dealt with. And that can't ever really be done, because this was happening before any of us got here. If it wasn't for aspects of the conscious community and the dissemination and how people in Harlem and stuff disseminated the information, people wouldn't even know who Blair or anybody, me or anybody even was. You see what I'm saying? But to monopolize and make it like only one place is the bastion of our knowledge is the trick. The Harlem Renaissance was only applicable because Black Wall Street was destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? The only reason why, like I said, Drake could be the best rapper now because they got rid of Tupac and Biggie and back in the day. You know what I'm saying? These people, it's not about talent and it's not about even what you know. It's about how you're able to market yourself, how you're able to make a spectacle of yourself, and how you're able to rally, almost scare people into your point of view. That's what I just described. That's how Donald Trump got president. That's how it happened. Because of all of the problems. So now you got a Republican House, a Republican Congress, and a Republican Senate. But look how they're gonna flip it on. They still want a woman president, right? This nigga gonna be in there probably for 4 years if they don't impeach him first, right? Because he's a loose cannon too. Because he's not also he don't go to all the Bilderberg meetings and all of that. He only able to go to certain things. So he's still kind of wow. So they put the ringer in there. Remember I told you about the ringer? The ringer now is Mike Pence. Remember his plane fell down? Or something, they had to rush him off the stage one time and all that. All of those is the warning shot. That's the theater I was talking about. So God forbid he get off the rails too much, they could always flip him and then put Pence in there, and now they can control everything again. But here go the rub. The rub is the next seat for the Supreme Court gonna come in, and guess who they're gonna try to put in?
Who that, my brother?
Oh, Obama.
I knew he was going to say that because he is a lawyer. Yeah, he's a lawyer. Absolutely.
Right? They're going to try to get him right in, and once he get in there, then they're going to give you the alley-oop. They're going to try to put the alley-oop on you. You're going to start to hear buzzing rumors about the next presidency getting Michelle as the first woman to get in there.
Whoa.
What? Depending on how they flip it, she could do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Trump's wife has got total lesbian nude spreads all over. You know what I'm saying? She's like I said, this is who they've chosen the first lady to be, a Playboy centerfold. You understand? Say what you want about Michelle, pretty or not, she did it with so much poise, so much grace that they could only compare her to somebody like Jackie O. And she was a black woman. If we really want to get into it, that was Onassis. She Greek. You know what I'm saying? She come from the Greek Moors, the old Peloponnesian line. That's why they hooked her up with Kennedy, because the Moorish line of the Kennedys is the Cavendish.
That's
why they called the whole thing Camelot.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? So because both of those lines were connected to Prince Mureg, and Prince Mureg was the brother of King Arthur.
Brother, I definitely can let you build and build and build. It's very interesting and very enlightening to me. But on here I have historically and genetically, who are we? I was reading some of your work and looking at some of your videos. And I was looking at the notion that we were here before the Columbus sailings, boats, and those occupiers, whatever you want to call them, whatever. But we were here, and I was looking at some of the pictures. Can you go in on that for us, brother? Who are we as it relates to us being here in America right now?
We are the descendants, antecedents, remnants of the original copper-colored races, copper-colored people that existed in North Central South America, who Hebrew people would call the lost tribes of Israel, the 10 tribes of Israel, or whatever, who the Moors would call the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Amalekites, so on and so on, who the Kemites would call the original Egyptians, right? Who else is out there? Who the Nation of Islam will refer to as the original Asiatic so-called black man. I don't know. Original Asiatic so-called black man. You know what I'm saying? So we are the epitome of those people. We are the genetic remnant. And those people have specific haplogroups. And those people have a distinct genetic marker that was passed down through a transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, meaning an ancient memory that is passed down from the beginning of what we perceive time to being actually on leg, on head. So those people had an original way of doing things and being that was specifically united in how the divine was translated to man. And therefore they became the high priests of what we would call Anu or Anubis, who is the lord of the underworld, who is also the god or representation of dark matter in man. That's why you always see Anubis wrapping somebody up in cloth, right? Sackcloth. God, or the spirit of God, or what they call the shadow of God in certain fraternal orders. And in that, we were encoded with certain things that allowed us to be able to do greater things in the physical world and the non-physical world. So when you hear stories about people being kidnapped on boats and then flying back to Africa, stuff like that, those types of things were everyday occurrences to us. When we talk about the X-Men and the mutants and any situation where a group of people who have special abilities are marginalized, those people are a representation of us. So everywhere on the globe right now, you look and you see Asiatic people who resemble us, they catching the most hell from whatever government they're in. That is not a coincidence. That's because all of them people and us was all unified in a global empire that spanned the world to a point where everyone on the planet, the language of humankind was Arabic or Murabic. This is before the word Arab existed. Murabic. So wherever you went, there was people like me and you with bezes, turbans, and all that on, getting it popping, ruling the world, keeping everybody in security and safe, where everybody could live together. As the always, whenever they talk about Spain, they're so amazed that the Moors were able to rule the Christian, Muslims, and Jews. But look at the distinction they made. They said the Moors created a system where the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews could live in harmony. So what does that mean? That the Moors themselves were not necessarily Muslims. So they wasn't Muslims, but was they? They still spoke Arabic and Islam and all that. But they also, so they would make salat, but they also burned incense. They also did yoga. See what I'm saying? They also burned frankincense and myrrh and all that. They also did kung fu, things like that. Started the samurai thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We were the backbone of what Western civilization became. So by the time we get to the point of the civilizers, the colonizers, and the war, the American Revolution, which again started in 1511 in Baton Rouge, amongst the Fulbe, F-U-L-B-E Moors, who were fighting against Zaza Moors in that area, against the importation of Mandinkas who were prisoners of war from the foreign wars in Western Africa across the water. And that set off a whole sequence of events that culminated in the whole continent being in conflict. So by the time people like Washington and them, they came in late. So prior to all of this, a lot of the problems also came when they started breaking up Moors or Muslims into other identifying terms through the Bureau of Land Management, through the census, calling Cherokees Indians. But remember, you have, remember, you have a family name, which is the name of your tribe, and then you have your clan's name, which is the name that you existed in the empire. It represented your Moorish clan. So you would be, Abdul Smith Bey. But Smith was the Cherokee. So you'd be Abdul of the Smith Cherokees of the clan of Bey, or the clan of Il, or the clan of Allah, whatever. And that gave you the ability to go anywhere on the planet due to the ancient trade routes that we established. So what they call the transatlantic slave trade came from trade routes that had already been used for thousands of years. White people did not invent slavery. They walked into an institution that already existed. But for the first time in history, they were not the commodity. They were now able to purchase the commodity, and their preference in commodity to build their society were disenfranchised Moors, who they redesignated as Negroes, Indians, and this, and that. So once you had your international connection cut off by having your identity is represented on the census as from a Bey now to Smith. Now Smith, which is of the Cherokee thing, has to be your nation. See what I'm saying? So now Cherokee, which was the domestic aspect of your universal Moorish nationality, is now switched. where now Cherokee has to represent both.
So my brother, over here, when Christopher Columbus and those explorers, they call them, discoverers, they want to call them, when they came here to the shores of North America, who were the people that was there to meet them when they came to the shores? Who are those people, and are we in relation to those people?
Those are the original descendants of the original peoples of the land that would descend from the most ancient culture, which was the X culture, XI, which has been translated to Olmec. The descendants of the Olmec, so all of the Cherokee, Montauk, Muskogee, all of these so-called what we understand American Indians, when they were Moors, Asiatics, right, the real dark ones, those were the descendants of them. So when Columbus and these people came here, you found Moors all up and down there, Montezuma and them. That was a Moorish empire. And these Moors came because the old king, Boabdil, had signed over the rights for them to reorganize the western portion of the Moorish Empire and put it under Spanish management. And in return, the Moorish Empire was to receive gratuity taxes from all of the European powers that were engaged in this. But the European people that we're talking about are not Caucasian people. We're talking about people who grew up under the occupation of the Moors for over 1,000 years. So we're talking about people today, when we talk about colonial Spanish, we talk about people today we would see as Puerto Rican or Dominican or Bolivian and things like that, who were dressed in the armor and all of that. That's why they speak Spanish today. So in seeing those original Muslims, those people, and how they ran their government, they decided to annex that part of the world or their government to us or to themselves. And they created a system by which we would never be able to get the original titles back as royal Muslims, i.e. Moors, indigenous to the governments of the old Americas, the Almatacanos Estados, the three Moorish estates. So in that, Moors started to defect from the greater empire just to stay alive and to maintain what little they had. So would give up Moorish habit and go into being Spanish. And so by 1556 or something, Charles V decides, well, in the British, in whatever territories, anything Moorish is not going to be listed as Spanish because most of the Mauritanians have been occupied. And that's what led to the American Revolution, like I said, from 1511 culminating into 1776. That's why in order for them to set up a new standard way of administrative government, they had to ask permission from the Sultan.
Man, this is a lot of history to cover, brother, and it's amazing that you just flowing with it. You just flowing with it. But I was looking at your page and I was noticing that you resemble some of the native tribes that were here. Have you ever tried to trace your origin personally, genetically, or are you just convinced that's who you are? You actually, I mean, your phenotype looks identical.
Did like everybody else and did the DNA test and found X amount of Native American, X amount of Asian, X amount of Saharan African, and all of that, and then translated that to what that really means. Sub-Saharan African is basically Western African, and anything Western African. That's why the DNA of certain males in Cameroon is the same as certain males in South Carolina, because the western portion of Africa was always a part of the greater empire, and the kingdoms that were over here were in existence simultaneously with those, and there was international trade going all the way back to the time of Mansa Kankan Musa Bey. And through the Mandinka and these people, there's evidence of them all the way up in Arizona, California, to the Great Caliphs in the Granada Hills over there in California to this day. So the whole thing is ours as the ancient progenitors, going all the way back to the mythological times of Atlantis and all that. That's why we can't be imported no already in Africa. I'm just in the Africa that was now called America. So I don't have to be of that. So when I traced my ancestry, I found one half of us, me, was indigenous straight from here, and the other half was Moors from England and Germany and Scotland. So when I researched that, it could only be certain peoples, which were like the Pictish, who were kind of small in stature, which makes sense. And then once a lot of them went to Northern Africa, Western Africa, like Morocco and all that, some of them joined with the Hausa tribe, and then so I got a lot of that in me too. So in my family surname, you know, Rogers, and then on the other side is, my mother's side is Wilson. You know, Rogers is more of a Lenape, kind of Hasua, what you call it, Montaka, Northern Creek name, whereas Wilson is more Cherokee, Choctaw, Muskogee, Washoe, you know, and then people that call the Raccoon people. And that's the side connected to the almonds. See what I'm saying? So in that, we as royal Muslims have a pedigree that's supposed to be respected as the first people of the planet who opened it up with everybody else. But we can't access that with no nationality. Nationality is based on your genetic inheritance. So your genetic inheritance then is based upon what you know of yourself. Therefore, know thyself and you'll know all things. Therefore, the more we are hating each other for what we subscribe to, instead of looking at the commonality in it, we will always be at odds and we'll never get nowhere. And the dirty Moors and dirty, you know, black militants and the Confederates, they always going to win. Because they'll always have an arena to make money from it. See what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So,
yes.
I'm not into the conjecture. So if anybody has problems with anything I'm saying, you could always email me directly at houseofbell@hotmail.com. Don't try to use me as a soundbite or video to launch your career or whatever. I've been here and I've been having the same email from this whole time. So if anybody ever had any problems, they could always contact me directly. But we live in this era where grown men want to stand up and defend other men. You see what I'm saying? To keep something going that doesn't exist.
Right.
There is no me and you. You know what I'm saying? There is no opposing opinion to mine. Because I know what I know and I know what I believe. So you can share what you're sharing with me and I'll respect your opinion. But if I don't agree with it, I'm going to stick with what I know. Cool with you sticking with what you know.
Right,
if
right.
we both know that this guy is trying to kill us both, then let's work together. And then once he's gone, you can still believe what you believe over there. I'll believe what I believe over here.
Islam. Islam, brother. I'm gonna ask the people, because we're gonna wind down a little bit, brother, and I'm gonna just let you go. But I know a few questions came in the chat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you about you, and I'm gonna ask the people. If y'all got any questions, write them in the chat. Put them in the chat for me real quick. I'm gonna write them down, and then I'm gonna bring it to the brother. And I know y'all got some questions. I know one question was in there that we did a show with my brother Ali Bey and my brother Grimion L. And it was a show about civics. And I know you dip and dab in civics a little bit, little something. And the question was in there, I don't know what it was referring to per se, but I think the question was leading to, it said, ask him what do he believe, what do we think about RV publications? But I'm going to try to spit it another way and said, is the information accurate? I don't know, brother, you can answer it or leave it alone. I'm not sure where you're going with that question, but I think that's driven from the conversation that we had concerning all of these law cases and all of these. They changing the game now that you could cash in your birth certificate and it's a trust. You can get some money. Now nobody say you can get no money, and it's all over the place. So I think the question is, what do you think about the information, whether it be RV Bay Production? Really don't want to point them out and give them shouts out, but whatever the case may be. What do you think about this paperwork? This paperwork, I guess you would call it, I don't know what you would call it. Everybody pushing some paperwork nowadays.
Me personally, I think everything is always better when we clarify what the terms
Yeah, I got you.
that we're using are. So with the authenticated birth certificate, like there's this whole new way, any type of acquisition, as they say, of it, because that allegedly puts you back under the jurisdiction of the United States. Well, when you research the word authenticity, that basically means that you're trying to see if something is real or valid. Now, the misconception is that you are authenticating a birth certificate that they have already created, and now you're trying to cash in on. You can't cash in on something that's already there for you. It's already there for you, but the authentication has nothing to do with the birth certificate. This is why I know most don't read, and they don't. But what I said is how people tend to agree with things only when it suits their point of view. This is a perfect example of that. So this has not had anything to do with me. I didn't make this up. You can call or find out yourself. Because what they're authenticating is the notary. They have to authenticate that at the time the instrument was created, the officer for their so-called government as a witness was accurate at the time, because there's going to be a lot of money and revenue generated from it. How does authenticating the notary signature have anything to do with you? Authenticating the birth certificate is equivalent to you getting on the Long Island Railroad. You could just get on the train once you got the ticket, right? But you don't have to get the ticket to get on it. Meaning that when you first walk to the train, the porter's not asking for the ticket right away. You could just sit on the train, and then as the train goes, eventually he comes. And then you give him the ticket, and then he takes the ticket. The train. So it's the same thing with the authentication. It has nothing to do with you as the individual, as a slave to some sort of corporate entity that really in itself does not exist.
Oh, brother, say that one more time, brother.
You're talking about a corporate entity that doesn't exist. So you're saying that something that doesn't exist has jurisdiction over me if I use the instrument that it created for me to create a delineation in it. So if there's a tool for me to delineate myself totally from this thing, why wouldn't I use that? Now, I would understand now if I went and said, okay, they said, well, you authenticate this certificate, we have total jurisdiction over you. There's nowhere on any form of receipt that I've ever got or seen by anybody that has done that I've read that. So that doesn't exist. And you know it don't exist because when you do it, you got to have another country to authenticate it too. So how does it have anything to do with the United States other than the initial authentication of the person who signed the initial instrument? It's a checks and balances system for you to accurately show that you can administer the estate that has now been annexed to you because you come out of the private side, the public side of doing business totally. Now, if anybody tries to use this right now, think I'm lying. There's no money birth certificate attached to it. Your listeners right now, go to a website, folks, and be careful because once I'll say it, people will flood it and then they'll switch it up and I gotta find it where it is. But whatever. There's a website called GMEIutility.com. Go on there, type in your social, and see all the companies all over the world using that same social security number and birth certificate. You can put your birth certificate number on that too and watch what come up. You're going to see people all over the world right now using your number, and you are liable for it. And these Moors want you to believe that all you got to do is go to this place and send these people whatever, and then all of that other stuff has nothing to do with you. So now when you driving down the street and you pull out your whatever identification, the first thing they're going to do is see that that's not reflective of the person that you're saying you are.
And what was that? What was that website? One more time. I want to put it in the chat for the people.
GMEI Utility. See these dirty Moors and these dirty militants and stuff. They're not going to tell you and show you where it's at. That's why I don't gotta be thing with anything they say, because they all work for somebody else. I work for me and Allah and the people. You see what I'm saying? So there's no vested interest of me keeping it from you. There's certain things I definitely won't talk about, but that's why I'm working in the private sector anyway. But for the most part, once you see that, when you authenticate that certificate, what you're doing is saying that the business associated with this and the liable debt that you guys have now put on me is now back on y'all. And now y'all owe me. Has nothing to do with you as an individual. Has nothing to do with you as a citizen of the United States. They just don't want you to be a citizen of the United States doing that. That's why you got to come out of that through your nationality.
But my thing,
step out of that whole situation.
How did that become so popular? This culture of thinking that we're going to shove some paperwork and bring it all together and get some money and unite and build a community nation. Then
paperwork is part of it, but it's not about blowing your wad, man. It's not about telling them, yo, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. But then you got a bank account. All these Moors talking all of this, authenticate this and that. They all got bank accounts. How you got a bank account with no social security number, with no 98 number? How you open your PayPal account?
Right.
They lying to you. They making it seem like they don't have none of that. And in order for them to get your payment for whatever they service,
brother, that's right. Well, you going in now? You're right. That's common sense. I like common sense information. See, brother Aseer, I'm a little ADHD sometimes, but I can follow you. I'm following you. But common sense information is paramount to me. Like you said, if you up out of the system, how you getting that PayPal money? Man down.
You doing all cash? But then these will be the same Moors that say, oh, cash is fiat, can't be. But then that's the only medium of exchange that most so-called melanated people can deal with. I would love to just receive silver and gold for my service, but they don't have that. And I'm not going to make them go and do something else when they come in to get their basic stuff right. So you got to work where the people at. You got to give them something to aspire to. But you can't act like you're not at times dealing with some of the same systems that they're trying to come out of. We all are. You understand? When I get on the bus driver don't have jurisdiction over me. You know what I'm saying? He got jurisdiction over the bus. So what if I get on the bus? That means the bus driver, he can tell me what to do only if I'm trying to endanger him or another passenger.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that means so long as I govern myself through love, truth, peace, and justice, then I don't have nothing to worry about. So when I hear people talk about, oh, I don't deal with Moors, forget Moors, they on that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what you're saying is you don't deal with love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, equality. Thanks for telling me, so that way I got to deal with you. You got people giving you spiritual advice who don't even believe in God. This is where we at. This is what who's openly coming out saying that they don't believe in no God, but then they telling you about DNA and spirituality. Come on, man.
Yes, brother. Yes.
I'm not hating.
No, brother, you talking my language right now, because I'm so tired of hearing this talk.
Everybody that don't like me, I love them.
Brother, you speaking my language.
I'm not doing nothing for them not to like me. So really, they just not liking certain things that I'm saying because based on where they're at and what they believe is conflicting with how they get their money. That's all it is. So I'm not going to take it personal.
That's right.
I'm not going to make it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And that's where I stand at too, brother. Where I stand, it compromises people money. Get your money the right way and you be all right. You ain't got to worry about me.
But here it is, brother. I'm not trying to make it seem like or I'm holier than thou, like I'm somehow infallible. Like I'm just like everybody else coming into this. All I'm saying is, don't create a situation where you are trying to actively play on the common sense of the people and then make it seem like you're the only one in that. I'm not the only one in this. I'm not a leader for the people. I am one of the people who can lead. So I'm going to do that. How I do that? By example.
Right, right. Hey, brother, let me ask you a few questions. Since ain't nobody act like they want to ask questions. Brother, what do you think about and I'm just throwing some, you don't have to ask them, brother. I'm just curious how people take on certain things. And I know that you have a wealth of information. And my brother Sharif, man, he hits on these things. I know my brother Ali Bey, they hits on these things. I hear various people hits on these things, and I like to hear what your take on it. What is your take on the right to travel, my brother?
It's an unalienable right, but there's actual documents, and that's what I mean. Like, everybody's creating all of these documents, and they created something called the Paper Terrorism Act, and this was solely created to list Moors as terrorists by besieging the court with paperwork. Because even though everything mostly in a lot of people's paperwork is actually right, like I said, coming into this through the post-Civil War or pre-Civil War. If you come in post-Civil War, then you gotta create these right to travel, these things or whatever, because you are basically dealing with them as an enemy come back. So you're saying you have a treaty of peace and friendship that does that, but you don't have anything according to the treaty that shows or reflects that. So what this does is this created a perpetual system by which people felt they need to challenge jurisdiction.
Right.
Challenging jurisdiction creates a dual relationship. Not dual like D-U-A-L, but dual
like a duel, a fight.
D-U-L.
Yeah.
And so now you have engaged the Templar into proving who you are when he already knows who you are. Because what you were supposed to do was declare your nationality formally, by which you could receive documentation from the hosting country, which is the so-called U.S., from them with your free national name on it, with your headdress on it. So now when you give that to them, that's you giving these people a piece of ID that says that their people have already acknowledged you as a royal Muslim. Moors ain't doing that. What they're doing is they putting up IDs in their house. And they giving them to people. And then the people, because they haven't done anything to clear up the old straw name or the old situation, that's still open. So now when you give them this documentation, it conflicts with what they already got in their system. So now, based on the Trademark Act of 1885, between Morocco, the United States, France, and Britain, and Spain put an obligation to be a part of this, they have the right to seize the impersonator or seize, punish him severely, and confiscate the counterfeit material on behalf of the Moorish Empire. The Trademark Act between Morocco and the United States of 1885 implicitly states that they have the right to punish you if you impersonate a Moor. So when you are a person and you have two different identities, the Bible says that man cannot serve two masters. That's why you have to put the old straw man in check and turn that into an estate or trust or something. So now it is totally off board as interface with you directly.
So I want to ask this question. Another person asked, what about writ deals? I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you a little about me, Aseer. I'm strictly profit over Ali to the fullest. I don't break down all of that. That ain't my thing. My thing is to bring the people together, and hopefully those with this political science degree and those with the information, they can guide us on that path. My journey is to bring us all together. That's where I'm at. I'm fine with that. So I'm like some of this the questions I can't really clarify. You may be more familiar with them than I am. What about writ deals? What about writs? Like I said, I'm strictly profit over Drew Ali. Everybody come together and let's come up with a plan and let's get ourselves back to where we used to be. Period, point blank. So
we can't look at it I feel your passion, and I really respect your position and what you do. Because sometimes I know it's hard to sit there and watch somebody talk some stuff that you just know is BS, but you got to give it a platform to do that. That's why I respect certain people who have that, you know what I mean, that capability. However, all of us have a role to play. We're all not supposed to be doing the same thing. And unfortunately, we are getting the truth and the falsehood strangely mixed. So there's 50% of us that's in the movement that's really for the movement, and there's 50% of people in the movement that's totally not for the movement, but they in it. So you can't unify with that. All you can do is create a baseline constituency, in my opinion, that allows everybody who are of like mind to create the long range plans for us to do what we need to do.
That's what I think. I'm sorry, my brother. I think all the brothers and sisters that is versed in this UCC and is versed in this straw man stuff, that's versed in all that. I think everybody need to come together, put the money together. I don't know if you need a law degree or whatever the case may be. We need some judges. We need some lawyers. We need some clerks. We need they need to go into a room together and figure this thing out. And then those that's going to unite under the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice within the temple setting, we need to all come together. We need to work that out. And we need to meet at the top. Because all this back and forth stuff, I ain't got time for it. I hear it in your voice. You don't got time for it. We need to start the building something. And that's why
I agree, bro. You know, not to cut your words.
No, you good, my brother. Come on.
Passion. And I feel your passion. However, I'm a realist, and as a study of history, I looked at the consistent ways that these movements have been broken, and it all boils down to people not really wanting to be free. It wasn't a white man that set up Garvey. It was a black man. It wasn't a white man that killed Malcolm. It was a black man. It wasn't this that killed the father of all. It was black men. You know what I'm saying? It was our own people who do this, because this was a sickness that has been into us since 1492. And before we can unify and do anything, we need to decide who we want to be to do that. And if we don't know in the meantime, at least grab yourself or group onto something or somebody with some sort of sense that's not just going to do it for you, but show you.
Well, I just believe the Prophet Noble Drew Ali has the ultimate plan. That's just me. I believe that those who really don't have a clear conception of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought from a spiritual perspective need to get with somebody who does understand even just a little bit, so we can move forward. Our power is not in the physical of a piece of paper. Our power is not in the physical of our physical bodies and coming together with that. Our power, man, we had them latent powers, as the Prophet Noble Drew Ali talk about. And we got to get you back to our spiritual essence, brother. That's where I'm at with it.
It's a divine and a national movement. You got
absolutely
the spirit and the body together. And most people separated from their genitals. You understand? And that's on their body. They don't have no control of that.
Yeah.
Down and read a Quran or have to go down and talk to these people to switch over your social numbers so that way you're not reflected as black, Negro, and colorblind. Like people think they got it. That's why the idea of just mailing stuff off to people and then blocking out like that is not really it. In my opinion, all of it is good.
Let me do this real quick, my brother, because somebody just went on me saying that I'm spooky. Brother, what I'm saying is our power is something that is unseen. It's with us all the time, brother. I'm not talking those spooky stuff. Our power is in us 24/7. And we have to ignite that. We have to engage that. And if we can engage it in unity of one thought, we can accomplish some amazing things. And I'm gonna tell you what my man say. A rapper once say, mind control the body, body think the mind is crazy. If we can get the mind to raise up, the spirit to raise up, then the body gonna follow. That's all I'm saying. Nothing spooky, family.
It's not even that deep. Like, we be making it deeper than it is. Like, it is all of that, what you're saying, but it's so intrinsic in you. It says, the Quran say that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein. It says that Allah exists in the heart. So that means that we are so, like you said, spiritual, that we're so spiritual that some of us don't even believe in spirit. That's how deep we are in this fog. So what I'm saying is that while we're in this problem, this is the best time. This is the best time for anybody with consciousness to come into it, because the lines are now starting to be clearly defined. Up until Obama, everything was ambiguous. Now that this dude is in there, the line in the sand is drawn. You either have a nationality, you don't. You either have money or you don't. You're either a citizen or you're not. You understand what I'm saying? But the real rub is we already have the ability to do it through group economics and boycotting. Well, you want to see the country change in a month? I can tell you right now, but niggas ain't going to do it. But all you got to do, okay, you want to see people stop getting shot on the street, on the highways, by cops. You want to stop that? All you got to do, black people, stop buying Cadillacs, boys.
That's it.
Of Cadillacs, that you're not going to buy another one. And every black person in the community not going to buy one more Cadillac until they create a lobby for a total moratorium on police shootings and police brutality and mandatory life sentences for police murders and all of that. That you're not going to buy one more. And you got family in Africa and family in India and Europe that's going to do the same thing. You watch what happens.
The change going to happen overnight.
All you got to do is you can just say, Timberland, hey, Timberland, we're not going to buy no boots for a year unless y'all open up a damn solarium in every hood, a green or whatever in every hood, or sponsor a community center where we get to go hiking or whatever every month. We ain't gonna do that until you do that. Do you know what would happen? And they know it. So you know what they do? They get a bunch of black apologists and rappers and fake pundit conscious celebrities to come in and dazzle you with what you ain't doing. It's you, Negro. You ain't doing shit. You still caught up in slavery. You still calling yourself back. Always blaming the victim. Always blaming the people for their plight. But the plight that the people were in was not by default, but by design. This is a design that we're in. So once you know the parameters of it, you now can cut the pattern how you want. And economics is going to shut it all down. Trump, one thing about that nigga, he know how to squeeze a dollar out of penny, and he know how to hide it too. So this is a time where if you understand private bill, if you understand equity, if you understand how to, you can start cleaning up. And I'm not an advocate for him, because guess what? I have no vested interest in him or any president of the United States, including Obama. And I showed that. From when he first got in office, was doing DVDs telling people what he was going to do and what he wasn't going to do. And he did exactly that. But it didn't stop the momentum of what he was there to do spiritually. So again, I can discern spiritually what it means on the astral and then what it materializes as in the reality. But the time now has come when we can do that too. But it ain't going to happen if you're mad or somebody's mad that you have an opinion that differs from theirs and you hating because they reached a certain degree of, like, it has nothing to do with that.
Right.
I done been in all of that. I came up in New York, man. I done been through all of that.
Hey, mentioning that, Red Pill say you was one of his teachers, one of his first teachers last night. I talked to Red Pill and I told him that you was coming on the show. And Red Pill, he says he sends his peace to you. But yeah, he mentioned that last night to me. And matter of fact, he pulled up an old video with you, Rashid, I think, and him.
That was the shit that set us all up. That was in my house.
Yeah. We looked at that last night together. You know what I mean?
That was the joint that set it off for all of us. You understand? But we did that. That was in my crib. Like, that wasn't something that I planned. Like, we planned that. Like, that's what happened. But then once we all started, evolving in our own path, it doesn't always gel how it's supposed to. But it's never no hate. It's never no not love. It's just certain things. What I think on the greatest situation, on the greatest scale, is that we as men sometimes don't know how to just say or just say exactly what it is. And now with this YouTube, Facebook, it's created a way for people to be able to air out everything and never have to see the person.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I come from. I come from the era where you would have to wait for somebody. You have to wait to get home to get your calls. I came from the era where you couldn't just say something to somebody or about somebody and then not call you or step to you. That's the era I come from. But that's not the era we in. So I'm not going to try to impose that on the people of this era. But when I see people of my own era, though, you see what I'm saying? Who came up the same way I came up, and they now start acting like they is from this era, and not from the original. Now I know you bugging. Now it's a problem because you know better.
Right.
We know better. We know that we don't know what happened to Dr. Sabi. Let's stop fronting and doing all of these things and celebrating them, and we're not trying to find out who murked them. We know that somebody murked Kobe. We know that something happened with Blair. We know that, but we don't have nothing in our community to be able to investigate that, and then we're patting ourselves on the back like we're doing something. Come on, man. Until you can prove to me that the prophet is even buried in that place where they say he's buried, don't tell me nothing about him, man. Because I got the paperwork that say that whole funeral where they said that the prophet overdrive, he blessed the dead is buried, that whole thing got flooded out, and they was hiding bodies and moving them and all of that. So I'm writing letters to the forensic person to find out for me. You understand?
Yes, sir.
About that.
And my thing.
Don't go to the grave though. Don't take pictures in front of it though. See what I'm saying?
Hey, brother, and I'm gonna keep going till I find something different. I don't know what you're talking about.
Come on. I know that's something for us. What his personal situation was, whatever. All I know is when I do what I do and I'm out here, these crackers give it up. The only people that ever give me problems with that is brain dead black folk and dirty Moors that feel like I'm not co-signing their agenda. I don't have it. My agenda is love to people from Justin Rock. That's it.
Well, my thing is this, my brother, before we close out, I am one who I've come to, let me tell this, brother. I want to subscribe to, I'd rather try to understand than to press somebody to be understood. I mean, I try to understand instead of trying to be understood. So as I listen to you or anybody else, I don't have to agree with everything, but I understand. I strive to understand. And I'm not going to try to force you to understand me. But hopefully you have enough wisdom to try to understand me. That don't mean that you agree with everything I say, but we got to understand each other, and then I think we can get along better.
Look, man, if you are telling the truth, then I agree with you. Even if I don't like what you're saying, I'll agree. If you like, hey, I said you got a book on, and I look and see that there's a booger there, I'm not going to get mad that you pointed the booger out. I'm going to move it and say thank you for not having me out here look like an asshole. And that's what I'm trying to say. We're not doing that for each other. We just out here trying to look like the best one, the baddest one, this one. I got these people with me. They rolling that. Meanwhile, they rolling up on the Israelites. They rolling up on the BPG people. They rolling up on Black Lives Matter. They still shooting people, right? But what we giving each other daps and awards and all of this? Like, I'm saying, like, I'm not hating on the community expressing itself. I'm not hating on people making money however they're going to make it, whether it's wrong or right. Because at this stage, any melanated person that's not living on the street or brain dead or crazy or dead deserve something. All I'm saying is don't use me or what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? And use aspects of what I'm doing. And then regurgitate that to the people and then charge them for something I'm giving them for free. My private service, my private consulship, my private retainer that I receive from an individual that I'm helping individually, that's private. But I done put out so much free stuff and so much relevant stuff that even if you don't agree, you can't say I'm lying, because I'm not. Because I'm not putting this stuff out to get people to like me. You understand what I'm saying? Shit don't have nothing to do with me. Shit don't have nothing to do with you. It has to do with what we're gonna leave. and how we're going to plan our survival for the next 25,000 years. Who's ready to start that plan?
But
Who has something for us right now? These crackers start coming through. Who has a plan and can actually get out to help people when it's at end? Nobody. You think the Nation of Islam got a plan? It ain't the one that you think. You think the dirty Moors got a plan? It ain't the one that you think. You think the Kemites and the Banners and these people got plans for you? It ain't the ones that you think, because they are entertainers.
Yes, yes. Well, my brother, I think I mean, this is not an arrogant statement either. I think I know the plan of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and I'm doing my best to try to live it out here in Baltimore.
That's right.
I mean, piece by piece, step by step, one person by one person. And I got a 5-year plan, a 5-year goal, and I'm going to make this thing happen. We're going to have a little more society here in Baltimore in 5 years.
You are. Those of us that's in the sound of my voice that agree are. The ones that don't agree, they are too. They just don't realize.
What I mean by the little more society, in Baltimore, we have pretty much good examples here. And when I say examples, I'm talking about what Marcus Garvey said in one of his quotes: "A good idea is just a good idea, no matter where it comes from." And here in Baltimore, we have a community. It's a Jewish community. They live in Upper Park Heights. On one side of the street, we have Park Heights, and they named theirs Upper Park Heights. You know, like Upper East Side. They recently built their own little hospital there. They don't even got to go out their neighborhood. You see,
That's right.
They don't have to go out their neighborhood. They have their own police force. What I mean by police force, no, they don't have guns, but you know what? They patrol their neighborhood. Very recently, a year or two ago, a young brother come walking through there, getting off work, taking a shortcut. They ran up on him. The young brother's like, "Man, I'm not listening to y'all. Who are y'all?" You know, and they threw him on the ground. They beat him down. They went to court. They didn't go outside their community. They went right to their community, and they got some lawyers. They got off of that. You know, the brother was beat up pretty bad. They got off of that. So what I'm saying is, those are examples that we can use. Now, these people, they did some unjust things to our brother. Absolutely. But guess what? This is the example of how we need to build our community. Not to do unjust things, but to be self-sufficient.
They got it from us. They lived under us for 4,000 years.
We didn't forgot, though. We need to take it back. We didn't forgot, brother. We didn't forgot.
Well, in my opinion, it starts with, what is your nationality? Who do you come from? What is your free national name? Who genetically do you descend from? Who and what is your political status or standing on or off the land? That's where it all starts. Everybody want to make it everything else in the world, but it all starts with what you answer to. And if you answer to a name that don't got no title at the end of it, regardless of how much commercial UCC thing it is, this that you got, they're always going to look at you as one of them, because you're still down with them. Whether you realize it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to get mad at me for saying it, it's true.
I definitely agree.
How do they come out of it all together? Consolidate your identity as a national in whole, establishing a state and a trust to administer your affairs.
Well, I think if we can establish a school for our little ones, I think that'll be rather unique. A school, a daycare to teach them Moorish. I think all of what you're saying is good. But where's our Moorish school? Where's our Moorish doctors? Where's our Moorish clinics? You know what I mean? I think all of that stuff is fine and dandy. My mission is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to establish a school within the next 2 years. I'm going to open up a school in the next 2 years. And within that 2 years, I'm also going to do everything I can to put a Moor into political office. That's just my thing. I ain't trying. If those don't want to yell that they Moors, it's fine. Once the community go, they'll come. What?
All you need is a community to protect the school, and everybody in the community is functioning from the same nationality, and everybody contributes to the same state, the perpetual state of Morocco. You can have little Moroccos all over the city.
That's what I'm saying, brother. That's what I'm saying. We need to begin to put. See, I think. For a long time, I'm sorry, my brother, but we need to begin to, I think that a lot of times we've been chopping it up too long. We've been chopping it up for 20 some years. You know what I mean? It's time to put brick to the mortar. And whoever come, they come. Whoever don't, they don't. We need to put brick to the mortar and start building something tangible. I think all that other stuff, We already chopped that up. I ain't seen nothing brick to the mortar yet.
Hey, Moor, I know what I'm doing privately, and when it's there, people gonna know. But in order to do that, I gotta make sure that I don't bring the same dirty people into this.
There you go, my brother.
Clean place. So we gotta start with people cleaning their own self up, pulling their own self up, and starting with themselves and their family. Because one thing the prophet did, and what these Moors and these temples ain't gonna tell you, is that he made each one of our physical bodies Moorish temples of America. For you to be totally exempt from whatever it is, because your actual arm, leg, head is the throne place of Allah. And the seat of that is seated on the throne, which is the fez or the turban, which represents the Godhead.
Brother, that's all good, but we need them babies to walk in some doors and learn these lessons. We need you in them doors to teach them babies these lessons. We need some brick to the earth, baby.
Well, I'm starting with them, Moor.
Yes, my brother. I definitely appreciate you. It's 10:05, my brother. If I can get you on here again, my brother, I will be honored. I definitely, because you got a lot, man. You have addressed a lot of topics. You have addressed a lot of topics throughout your journey. And I was doing research this week in the meantime, in between time, and I gotta admit, brother, a lot of topics that you address, it really is of great interest to me, and I know it's of great interest to others. So I would definitely love to have you back. Maybe the week after next, if you're free, I would like to have you back and touch one of those topics. I like to keep it organic, and I like to show people that whatever they may believe that caused them to separate themselves from their brother, they need to check what they believe, you know, because whoever don't like that I'm talking to my brother, this is my brother, you know what I mean? And I know we got some haters out there.
Oh, yeah.
But this is my brother. If it ain't your brother, that's your problem. If I ain't your brother, that's your problem. This is I can talk to my brother, can I?
Yeah.
Can I talk to my brother?
I can talk to anybody because I'm not under nobody's control that I can't. Because I make no oath and I pledge no, break no finger, give no blood, no man to get none of this. I got it myself by the grace of Allah, by the will of my family, and the love of a good black woman. That's how I got it. So niggas can say what they want, whatever. You ain't gonna find no pictures of me with no apron on. You gonna find no role roster with me being with this person or that person or somebody trying to claim what it is that I did or I got. Anything you see me put out, I put it out myself, other than the first two initial joints that I did on the initial platform in New York, which I will always give respect to in that vein.
Right.
For the fact that if it wasn't for brothers that like him out there putting stuff out, people wouldn't even know what metaphysics concerning black people, things like that is. So in that, there's always a blessing in the curse. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has the ability to be redeemed. Everybody has the ability to come out of the darkness. Everybody got the ability to get right and stop stealing, stop slandering other people. We all got the ability to stop doing that right now. You know what I'm saying? So again, brother, I thank you for having me on. And if you want to have me on ever again, just let me know.
Brother, I definitely gonna have you on again, brother. I want to get in some of that metaphysics. Brother, you got enough. Brother, you got enough work out there, brother. Man, I might soak you up, soak all your knowledge up, and then I start talking metaphysics, quantum physics. I may hydroplane. I mean, what they call that? Hyperproject.
You know what I mean? I can't own nothing that was already here when I came. All I can do is make it better than it was when I found it.
Right.
All I can do is provide it how I do it. So if people believe and get research and are able to show and prove themselves through it, that's what it's there for. You know what I mean? So I thank you again for the support, my brother, as well as the people in the chat and outside.
Well, they love you, brother. They love you. They love you. Everybody riding with you, my brother. I love you, my brother, and we will do this again. Islam?
Love you as well.
Islam, my brother. Peace and love. Peace. So there it is, family. There it is. That was a pretty decent interview, I think. Not even an interview. It was a conversation with the family, you know. And the thing is that we don't have to agree with one another all the time. We need to stop acting like we have to agree with each other all the time. I want y'all to know I don't do the paperwork thing. It's not my thing. I don't like paper cuts. I don't do it. I don't do paper clips. I mean, I do it, but when I do it, I'm probably doing a lease or something, and I'm gonna get some bread, fair exchange immediately. But all that other stuff, I ain't really with it. I know that Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he came to South Side of Chicago in the 20s, and when he came to South Side of Chicago in the 20s, he didn't get a whole bunch of paper cuts because he wasn't doing a whole bunch of paperwork. All he was doing was bringing the people together and give them the divine wisdom that came from Allah through his prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You know, that's what he did. He gave them instructions. He gave the people instructions. When you look at that Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, you see the instructions, holy instructions. And so that's what we need today. We need holy instructions. We need instructions on how to do something. If you ain't, see, I don't believe in this, man. I know you don't. I know you don't. But it's okay. It's okay. But if you're good on Monday and you're gone crazy on Wednesday, let me tell you something. You ain't been following the holy instructions. Period, point blank. Let me tell you what happened to me today. You know what I mean? Let me tell you what happened to me today. This is how the holy instruction works. I got this car, right? Oh, praise be to Allah. I like this car. This car pretty nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. I come out the house today. Look, I'm from Round Way. Round Way is hood. Y'all can tell. I know you can tell. I ain't uppity. But I got this. Allah has blessed me and working and doing the things that I need to do. Everything good. Anyway, I got this car. Now around my house, I got this fence, right? The wind blowing so bad right down in Maryland. I come home and I come out the house around noon today, and the fence is on the car. Oh my God. Now this is not no regular car. This is a car. This is a car. Oh my God. I'm just saying, oh my God, to you. You know what I did? I went in my trunk, grabbed me a rag, wiped all over the dent was in there. I then wiped off the little scratch. The dent was in there. I said, whatever. One day I got this other car. I got two pit bulls. One named Conrad. That's my man. I'm going to bring him on the show. Next week, Conrad is coming to Moorish World TV. That's my buddy. Anyway, I know Muslims, y'all, oh, you shouldn't have your dog in the house. Well, Conrad coming on Moorish World TV next week. Anyway, Conrad loses his mind one day and just jumps on my bread. This guy got a brand new paint job. Conrad jumps on it and just trying to climb, but he can't get a grip. Scratches all through the car. You know, I give you that story because none of this stuff bothers me. None. I look at it, grab Conrad. Man, come on, man. Look at all the scratches, like, whew, and keep it moving. I don't get worked up. I may seem to be worked up sometimes, but I don't get worked up because on Monday, or let me say today's Sunday, I put some holy instructions up in me. By Wednesday, Thursday, whatever I'm faced with, them holy instructions is going to see me through. Without me even activating them, they already activated. They self-activated. I ain't got to press no button. I ain't got to pick up the Quran. I ain't got to do nothing. All I got to do is the problem hit me and I just go over it. That's it. That's it. The problem hit me, I just go over it. But with that being said, family, let's do this. I want to share something with y'all. Can I share something with you? Let me talk like old Rev Chickfoot. Can I share something with you? Let me share something with you. Let's see. Okay, family. So y'all know the holidays coming. And I just want to share y'all. I'm about to shoot a video for this song before I get out of here. I'm about to shoot a video for this song. Tell me if you want to hear a song. Press 1 if you want to hear a song. Let's go. Matter of fact, I'm going to do Wake Up first. Yeah. Here we go again. Time to check some people.
Moorish World.
Check it out. Taharka Bey. I guess I gotta do what I gotta do. That's right. That's all. We for love, truth, peace, and freedom. What's up, family? Let's go. Won't nobody do it, leave it to me, I will. You lames, you gotta chill. You so not real. I've been watching you fake snakes acting different, cause you don't live in the hood and don't get public assistance. Man, my people be tripping when they think they better. All type of degrees, still dumber than ever. So corrupt and foul, but they know how to hide. They polish their life, it look good on the outside. But pull the veil back and I expose them all. They be tricking worse than the shorties up in the mall. Getting high as a kite, beating they wife, they got a mistress, they got enough to look down on you. Lame. The brothers is cursed, even worse than the no not. We know who you are, but all the heck you do is throw shots. We see what you got. Okay, you made it through school. Okay, you overcame. Little homie, that's cool. That's cool. Y'all with me? So, y'all with me? Then you came up with your little education. Now you want to look down on me and my people? Yeah. We'll keep on looking down. Keep on looking down, family. And watch us. We on the come up. We on the come up. Yeah. I'm sick and tired of these lame old frauds. Keep picking up the mic device, acting so hard. I've been through that fire, the type of things you never heard of. Little lanes like you will commit self-murder. You acting like life so sweet, over a beat in the streets without the heat. You clowns is weak, in the spot, in the box, you straight mince meat. The tattoo tears make you look like a geek. Little sideshow freak, acting like they cheat, acting like they me, or who I used to be, but they all be embellished. No effing intelligence. Taking care of your seeds, irrelevant and pressing up shorty, cause she got a little shape. But her nail and her weave, her whole style is fake. How can she be a dime, her brain flat line? Her birth canal is probably valid swine. Oh! Y'all with me? Spit a few bars. Somebody put you on. Now you act like you hard. You ain't hard. No, you ain't hard. That's straight blood. That's what we do. Exactly. That's what we do. You're getting at you. Let's go. I'm trying to tell you all just wait. I'm trying to tell you all just wake up. How many lives will you destroy to get caked up? How much time will it take us to even the score? How many dope fiend babies on the NICU floor? How many queens got to turn into crackhead whores before we understand our savior is yet to be born? We got our eyes to the sky. The solution is in us. God put that with us. We born winners. How many lives will we destroy to get caked up? How much time will it take us to even the score? How many dope fiend babies on the NICU floor? How many queens gotta turn into crackhead whores before we understand our savior is yet to be born? We got our eyes to the sky, the solution is in us. God put that with us. We born winners. We choose to be sinners. I pray Allah forgive us and forgive me for the way that I choose to deliver. But my message is the same as the Moorish Quran. But I say it in a way that certain people will respond. So go ahead, talk, ridicule, and judge me. And go and sit around and watch things get ugly. And when it all fall apart, the people you look down on, they be the only one that you can count on. And they gonna look like your mother, father, sister, or friend. You need to realize we all we got in the end. Ain't nobody coming to our rescue but you. Instead of talking that stuff, won't you see what you can do? Your life is only worth what you're sacrificing. Black people, stop being so trifling. Asiatics, stop being so trifling. Come on, people, stop being so trifling. We choose to be sinners. I pray Allah forgive us and forgive me for the way that I choose to deliver. But my message is the same as the Moorish Quran, but I say it in a way that certain people will respond. So go ahead, talk, ridicule, and judge me. And don't sit around and watch things get ugly when it all fall apart. The people you look down on, they be the only one that you can count on. Shit that look like your motherfucker or friend. We need to realize we all we got in the end. Ain't nobody coming to your rescue but you. Instead of running your mouth, won't you see what you can do? Your life is only worth what you sacrifice. And black people, stop being so trifling. Asiatics, stop being so trifling.
not clear, so try to come up.
All right, so fam, I need look. I got one more I'm about to hit you real quick, right? And then I'm about here. And I'm going to save my voice to Wednesday. I ain't even going to talk to Wednesday because I've yelled too much. They say I yelled too much. I'm going to stop it. It's DMX and all that. But I want y'all to hear this. This is the next one I'm coming out with. Check it out. Check it out, family. I'm going to shake somebody up with this one. So they're going to be shook up. Let's go.
Islam.
Islam?
It's that Moor Taharka Bey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this twice.
All praise.
All praise.
Be to the great God Allah.
Sure.
And the True Ali. Let's go. This for my people. No matter what you believe.
Give us up.
This one for you. And you. And you. Yeah. Moorish World. Let's get it.
Check it out.
Here we go again, misleading with you, claiming that some fat Europeans landed on the roof. We gotta stay at 12 reindeers and float in the sky. Whoever made up this project, they had to be hot. We teach the kids to believe and tell them never to deceive, and if they do, they won't receive nothing under the tree. We lie and tell them don't, cause they mind just jump and wonder why they confused and treat us like punks. We spend our hard-earned money on Xbox and PS, then we give the honor to some BS. We stress on January 1 when New Year comes, waiting on a tax refund. Like that tree, like the entire crib, BG&E. But when the bill comes, we feel dumb, we tight, let's be real. But all it's got to do with Christ. Oh, hey. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get somebody mad with this one. Got you mad, but if you mad, if the truth got you mad, do something, do something. Come here, call. If you mad, hey, do something. It's a shame that we've been taught to justify a lie to say God a plan that the mind gave us this religion, fairy tales and superstition. Tell me where it was written. In the honor of Jesus, we should put up a tree. But I can show you it was paganistic back in BC. In the Bible book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2 through 5, will explain this sin. See, corruption is corruption, no matter how we twist it. Commercialize the birth of your savior is ridiculous, sad. I'm second mad and feeling real bad. When you can't find a little run a new iPad, try buying him a Bible, a Quran, or the swords. Before 7 days, I know you can afford it. Break that cycle, touch down them lights, yeah, burn that tree. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Come on. Hey. If the truth got you mad, if the truth got you mad, do something. Do something. If the truth got you mad. If the truth got you mad, do something, do something. Yeah. This is how my people. If the truth got you mad, do something, do something. Peace out, family. Yeah.